Here we go. Welcome back to the Over Explained campaign, where myself and Ava are going to be going through anything and everything we can talk about on a Long War of the Chosen campaign. This is set to Legendary. We are taking it as if you were playing Legendary, and for both new and expert players alike, hopefully providing insight and tips to help you guys find your own success. And we have Geist just talking over.
So rude.
Oh. If we take a look at our
the narrative voiceover for stuff enabled.
All because all my options, right?
Oh yeah, because I told you to delete your profile.
Oh my goodness, this is why we're getting so many noises now. Well, here's a great tip for everyone. If you are annoyed with all these voiceovers that you get while hanging out in the Avenger, you can go into your options and disable ambient narrative and legacy narrative. This might make your game just a little bit more enjoyable. Now, was there anything we were going to talk about today to start off with? I know we ended last time with a extract the VIP ready to go, another one queued up, and we're in a interesting situation where we haven't done a liberation chain yet. We missed a couple of our missions early on, and so we're playing a little bit of catch up.
Yeah, but other than that, I think we are in a solid foundation with both regions at strength 2. So still easy missions, and yeah, gotta find some missions in Western Europe. I guess that's the main point at this point. It's like really stabilizing and prepping your first liberation. That's this stage of the campaign.
And with no missions in Western Europe, because we finished last campaign or last session by making contact, meaning our missions here have not, they just generated. We haven't looked for them yet. We've thrown the scientists in there, and we're going to use the scanning of the Avenger for the +4 and the personnel we have to hopefully gain a little bit of boost and find some decent timers. But I think we'll have more on that when we get back to the Geoscape after we go start with our first mission. This is going to be a rescue VIP from Advent Cell. We are going to also find a lead. Finding a lead is just a term basically to getting an intel package, really, and nothing more at this point. We've gone through this before, that you get a lot of information at the mission brief. How many enemies are going to be on the map, what type of map you're going to have, your evac timer, and how long you have towards that timer. We do have a sit rep here, location scout, so we are going to be able to detect Advent through the walls. This is basically like tracking that you would find on a Reaper. They're going to show their position when you get close to them and hopefully give you a tactical advantage. As far as our squad, it is the technical, a specialist, an assault, a rookie, and a rookie. Anything to add before we go?
I'm just, as usual, when we're like not playing the campaign for a week, I'm barely remembering where we're on the campaign, and now I see, okay, we're still at the stage where we send rookies on missions, so that's good.
We are at March 28th, so we know from that as well, like just that information without even looking at the Geoscape, that we're at force level 2. So really, in any normal campaign, I would say force level 3 is when you need to start worrying, when you're introduced to new alien types. Force level 1 and 2, I don't think there's really any changes that are noticeable between each mission of what units you're going to be facing. And so, yeah, we're still at that like honeymoon period where nothing bad can ever happen. I'm gonna hit launch mission. We know this is gonna be a 7 to 9, and we're gonna give it a go.
Yeah.
Astro Boy, good to see you. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, especially in the early game, feel free to ask. We're hopefully going to keep touching upon all these elements over and over again, as there's certainly a lot of moving parts in each campaign.
Advent forces are holding the capture somewhere in this area, and we're expecting a steady contingent of reinforcements
it's
to back them up.
Chat situation where everybody take a shot if you confuse Astro Bio and Astro Boy.
They're the same person, I'm convinced. This is just a ploy to have more characters in the campaign.
Squad concealment active.
First things first, map layouts. I don't know if we've done a Rescue the VIP on this campaign just yet, but it's typically when you need to extract a VIP from an advent cell, you're going to have a different map layout than you would for a jailbreak of multiple recruits or resistance personnel. You're going to have the one person in the cell here, and the evac will typically be past it. This isn't always true. One thing that can happen is it may be back towards the way you came, but it's not going to be far. You're not going to be traversing the whole map and then traversing the whole map back. Pod placement is going to be one that is supposed to guard the cell, and then you should have 2 to 3 pods between where you start and where the cell is. These pods can then wander off and end up in strange positions from there, but that's kind of the general rule of thumb.
I would also say it's kind of important at the start to take a look at the building where the cell is in. Because there can be some very annoying VIP cell buildings with like, I know there's one which basically has the cell in the upper floor, and planning how you get up there is important, and where the entrance is, where you have to go basically to hack the cell door. This one I think is fairly nice. So you have 2 easy entrances, both near the cells and further on the right there. So that's I think an easy one to get to.
Yeah, that's certainly like this is one of the more ideal ones. You're gonna have a doorway here, actually, I believe, right? It's gonna be a longer hallway. There's multiple cells here with a doorway here, and then a quick access door here. There's also gonna be a ladder up to the roof at the little like L right here. Yeah, you can kind of see it through the shadow, and then a couple on the backside as well. Now, when I approach this mission, I actually avoid the high ground quite a bit here. I know you can get the high ground, especially if you bring snipers, but it doesn't look like we brought any snipers. We brought shotguns, SMGs, and a couple of assault rifles. And with 18 turns, this isn't really our timer we have. This is like until we get captured, right? It's going to be much quicker than that. Oftentimes, just quickly moving up after you scout a little bit, looking for the civilians that want to catch you out, and using some of the high ground that we can see over here, I find to be advantageous enough. There certainly is value, though, to get up here if you think that the engagement's going to happen by these cars, as you get some of that little bit of aim advantage. So for this specific mission, I probably do want to get 1 or 2 up. But in general, I think it's certainly more important to keep the mobility and moving forward.
Absolutely. One quick note, maybe. So we have a mod that shows the number of active enemies and number of enemies we killed. That mod has one little quirk which I don't like. If you have the location scout sitrep, it also shows the number of enemies remaining that we see on the right-hand side at the moment. That is because in vanilla, location scout reveals the whole map, so you kind of have that information. So it's a little bit giving us more information than we would normally have. I'm not sure if that can be disabled in that mod, but just in case you're wondering how we got this information, normally you only have that once you have the shadow chamber. But we know there are exactly 9 enemies, not 7, not 8, but 9.
That's actually good to know. I did not realize that was from a mod, like that setting. I thought it gave you this information with Location Scout regardless. I thought Location Scout put this whole thing up there. The active kill, the remaining.
No, I remember that the mod description says something like that with Location Scout it gives you the remaining. Because of the way Location Scout works in vanilla. But yeah.
Well, then we'll have to decide if we want to keep that or not. This is a mod I use in all my campaigns, and so it's kind of been rather standardized. But that is very good to know.
I think it's not a you know, not a huge thing, not a gigantic advantage, especially with the you know, if there are no more enemies on the map and you press end turn, then the turn instantly flips back over to your side. So like the whole magic, or is there another pot or not, is kind of gone if you realize that's how it works.
Yeah, I agree with that. I decided to start moving a little bit. I moved 1 person in a blue move just to get some information on where our civilians are. Remember, we do have location scout, so if we get closer and did not see these, we would also get some information on them. Moving up our second guy into a double move did reveal our first pod. And again, we're at force level 2. We're getting officers, sentry, troopers, gunners, engineers, sectoids, and drones. It's really all that's available to us right now.
Here's a question, and I'm not sure if you know the answer to that. Are turrets on buildings gated by force level? Or could we have a turret on the cell building?
I don't think we can have a turret on a 7 to 9. I think a turret only shows up on a 10 to 12 when you're at 10, and it adds turrets into fill because they don't count towards the enemy count. So I don't think at a force level 2 you can have a turret unless it knocked off more enemies off the map. Do you have any better information than I on that?
No, I'm completely like the turrets. I don't know how they are counted towards the total number. I'm not sure if they're gated by a force level.
I don't think they're gated by a force level, but I do think it's based on strength level. I do not know if at force or strength 1 or 2 you can have turrets on the map unless it's knocked other enemies off the map. Now, with this first pod being what we can see, I'm fairly confident in moving the rest of my people up here. Chart says M1 turrets come at force level 2. Okay, so there is a force level gating. Force level 1, your first 2 weeks, you're not going to have any turrets. I would like to get someone up on this higher ground, but I don't really know who gives me value, especially from these last 2 units left, right? I have an assault here, and I have a rookie with a rifle. So I think for now...
Isn't the guy blocking the entrance anyway now to the
Oh,
high ground?
he is now, but not that we have the mobility to get past him with these 2 remaining. I think we're just going to move up. I'm fairly confident this pod is not going to be moving towards us here. And if they are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's unlikely that they would even spot us at that distance. And so I think it's just in my best interest to get closer and hopefully look for the engagement next turn. M1 at 2 to 14, M2 turrets at 7 to 20, M3 at 14 through 20. I do know that like the upgraded versions of them did have force levels, but I didn't actually know that for the first tier that we were gated on a force level 2. That's good to know.
I'm on the move.
Now, I am not putting anyone on Overwatch, and I think this is like an important thing to know is vanilla teaches you a lot about like the Overwatch engagement by you shooting and having people overwatched. Recently helping someone learn vanilla, I thought this was a very interesting mechanic and method that they teach you that probably teaches some bad habits. When overwatching in Long War the Chosen, and we talked about this last time, the real advantage of it is if we do what I refer to as a force reveal or beagle rushing, where you're actually leaving someone in the open so that they get wandered into, and you get additional action economy as you're shooting at them, and then their turn is ending as they're scattered, right? Having people just on Overwatch when you are looking to actively engage is not really great action economy. We get much more benefit by double moving up, by not engaging, by not thinking, oh, are they going to run into me? There are exceptions, of course, to this, depending if you don't know where things are, or you're already revealed. But when we're still in stealth, getting more forward, taking advantage of that position is much healthier.
Yeah, I think the main reason why vanilla teaches you that in that way is in vanilla, if you leave someone out in the open and they get revealed, the enemies might just not scamper and rather take a shot at the person out in the open. So it was kind of it was the mechanic that was introduced to counter that. And Long War decided, you know what, we want to have it the cheesy way, and left it in.
We are in an interesting position here where our flamethrower, where we were hoping to gain some value, is not actually going to get us too much value and might even hurt us if we decide to flame through a car. We don't have information on whether we have loot on these targets or not, but we do see that we have 5 health on the sentry, 4 health on the trooper, and 7 on the officer. There is limitations on what loot can be on certain soldiers. Officers, insectoids, and higher tier units do get better loot, at least on the distribution. With a pod that is blocking pretty much all of our mobility right now, our ability to move forward at all, and grouped up so nicely, this could be very advantageous just to start with a frag grenade. Since there is fall off damage from the center, we can theorize that we're probably not going to hit a 5 on the sentry. We cannot kill the officer even if we centered it, and killing the trooper is a yes or no, but they may or may not have loot. And so I think
that's the big question here. Is like, do we grenade or do you leave someone out in the open to get revealed on their next turn?
I certainly
Because you
could do
just
that.
go to the right side of the car with the guy at the lamppost, move him up to the.
And take
And-
what we've been talking about and showcase this real quick. And one of the reasons we're talking about vanilla is this series is for players who are both new to Long War of the Chosen coming from vanilla and for those experienced. All right, so we're trying to hit on all subjects of that.
That tile is guaranteed to get you revealed by the officer the moment they start moving.
Absolutely. I want to make sure that I have vision of the officer, and I do. So we do know that this information should be accurate if I decide to move Gregory out here. I think this is a great
I would
showcase.
probably move the other guy then up to the roof at least.
Zorba over here to gain a little bit of that height advantage. I think so as well.
Yeah.
And then we also can get corrections moved up quite a bit, it looks like. Now, something that the game doesn't teach you, and I think we've talked about this, but you can hold left control and right click to waypoint yourself forward. The other thing that we can do is that we can see that we could get here within a blue move. I can take advantage of this by moving corrections here, and we should gain one action back. Gina, how are you? Gina, so this campaign here has none of our character pool characters at all. This is random only, except for the people that we've named, which we have through a different channel point queue, which I'll enable after this mission. The reason for this is we both use different cosmetic mod lists, and it creates issues when switching between them if we're loading our character pools.
So imagine combining our character pools, then it would be like what, 250 characters?
I have 160 characters currently in my character pool that are just soldiers. There's like another 50 or 60 that are just VIPs. So since we know we're going to be taking the Overwatch reveal here, I'm going to be putting everyone on Overwatch, especially those who could not move without getting spotted. And coming out of Overwatch, you do not have the aim penalty on those Overwatch shots. So all these shots are going to be taking full value shots without the, I think it's minus 25 you get from Overwatch penalty. It might be minus 30.
It's a but it's a multiplier, right? So 30%, so that's not minus 30 to your aim, but rather let's say you're multiplied, the aim is multiplied by 0.7, so you lose 30% of the whatever hit chance was.
Gotcha, good to know.
I definitely got that one.
My cat is looking at me like, what are you doing right now? So what happened over here was this trooper did get a 20 or a 33% chance, 35% chance, legendary, 35% chance to have a green action and a 0% chance for a yellow alert action there since they were on green alert.
He rolled the Overwatch.
That he did. Now, we do have one of the strongest perks in the game here. On our Lance Corporal Assault, though, we have lightning reflexes. What this is going to do is is going to reduce shots chance at us from Overwatch by minus 100 for the first one, minus 80 for the second, and minus 60, and so on until you get hit. Almost guaranteeing most of the time that if you run the Overwatch, this first shot's going to miss. If there's multiple Overwatches, you might get hit from some of them. But since there's only one, and it's a 65 aim trooper who's not going to get any bonuses from being closer or having additional reactionary fire perks, we can clearly run that. And so I think that's what we do. I think we clear up some of our movement. We get corrections closer to help take out this drone.
I'm trusting you here.
As you can see, 0% chance to hit. Vendrex, how are you? Anything you wanted to add? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I'm just realizing that I'm probably a little bit delayed here.
Yeah, my
spectating.
My internet's having a little bit of an issue today.
Now the question is, do you want to throw a grenade in that drone to shred one of its armor points, or with 2 shotguns right there? I think that should be enough.
Yeah, so if we look at our shotguns are one of the strongest weapons in the game early on, especially when you're up close, as we are gaining a 45% aim chance for weapon range. I believe that's within 4 tiles. It might be 3. I wish I had that information brought up accurately right now. But as you get closer with the shotgun, you gain additional aim up to a certain point. And so that kind of mitigates all the defense, as we see we have no graze chance, and we see that also that our minimum damage roll here is a 4. Now against 2 points of armor, this is going to knock off 2 points of that damage if we min roll, meaning we're only going to do 2. But then we have a higher chance as well to get up to that 5 and even that 6 with a small percent chance of critting. Taking a look at both of our shotguns, we know that we could easily move copyright up right next to the surveillance drone and get up to that 100% hit chance as well. And so using a grenade here doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, both of them will do at minimum 2 points of damage, and so that's a guaranteed kill then.
So the other person that we have to worry about now is this trooper over here. Now, in this position, you would think this would be a flank, but we need to remember that when you're up against objects, you actually are leaning out, right? And objects do block line of sight. So while we could move over here, that may or may not be what we want to do. That's not going to be a great percentage chance. He's still going to be considered in full cover, as we don't get like good angle bonuses. Some of the other options we could do is we can move up a weird gal to get a flamethrower, hopefully guarantee a burn, do some damage, and kind of control him a little bit more. And we could also just try and get a grenade over to do some damage. I mean, we have a grenade here on Gregory, and that's more than likely would kill this trooper if we decide to go that route. We could also be taking the shot here where we do get a little bit of height advantage, but it's still only at 44%, and that's not fantastic at all because of the high cover defense he gets.
Probably check first if you can get the flamethrower, and then go maybe take the high ground shot just for the chance of, you know, not having to use a flamethrower charge, but then using the flamethrower. I'd use a flamethrower over a grenade, simply to kind of keep this encounter silent and not alert the whole map to our presence.
Absolutely.
I think last week we talked a little bit about sound ranges, and grenades have an incredibly large sound range, and you would probably put all other enemies that are on this smaller map on alert.
Yeah, grenades have a sound range of 24 tiles from where they land. Flashbangs only have a sound range of 18. Just fun little fact. Flashbangs in this universe aren't that loud. But I do agree. I think you start off with the guaranteed kills here. Even I think you start with copyright over corrections, as we may want to be moving corrections closer to take further advantage of the running gun in future turns or in future engagements if copyright is able to kill this by himself. We rolled the 7. So, and I do think taking this 44 is a worthwhile chance right here, just to see what we get. Safric, how are you?
We only have 2 charges on the flamethrower. If we can preserve them, that's great. If we miss, we miss. Ammo, we got unlimited ammo.
We do have unlimited
Especially
ammo.
if you don't move, then it's also good to reload and then shoot. But you know what? Who's gonna be picky here?
As far as resources go with the sound ranges, the Long War II wiki page is still probably the best resource. I'm not sure if if it's been updated for Long War the Chosen yet, but as far as I'm aware, I don't think there's been any major changes. And Ava's right. Ava's absolutely right. Since we were still within a blue move, we should have reloaded there before taking the shot. Me and my overconfidence has decided that not worth doing this time. So instead, we're going to use one of our flamethrower charges. This isn't that big of a concern when we have only 10 enemies on this map, right? Or 9 enemies, I should say. 9 enemies on this map. And so using one for 2 different pods is probably fine. Now, one of the things I had noticed here and talked about was, even though this angle looks like it would be on a flank, we are actually peeking out of this corner here. And if we take a look, this trooper is still going to get the full high cover bonus. So our shot is really not that good.
So one thing you could consider, if I saw that correctly, the trooper's not burning, right? He only took 3 points of damage.
Yeah, he is not.
One thing you could consider is check if the tile he's standing on is burning. If that is the case, then sometimes the only thing you have to do is flank the enemy so that they are, well, encouraged, or the AI basically always moves when they're flanked, unless you're dealing with a mutant, because mutants are nuts. So you flank him, he will move to avoid the flank, set himself on fire, and then you have nothing to worry about.
And that's what I was thinking of doing here, is even though if we move closer into half cover, there's not really a position that he's going to be able to reach to get a flank back on us, as he would have to come over to this tile over here, not even this one, this middle tile here. This one as well actually would give the flank peeking over, but he's more than likely going to run and burn himself.
Okay, I'll go.
And so now that we have that flank, we can kind of know that that's going to be the expected AI behavior, unless you leave someone in the open for them to shoot, like, and I mean with no cover at all, then they will try to go for those kill shots or those lethal shots. So we still have corrections available, who does have running gun if we were to use it, does have a grenade, things of that nature. I'm super tempted to just move him up here though, to hopefully get us moving and into some cover on this side. The other option is just to go in the half cover here, get that little bit of extra mobility forward, and keep using this side as cover as we progress.
I think it's always the risky part when moving your last soldier is, okay, what if I activate another pod? So you don't want to reveal, well, any tiles ideally, or as few tiles as possible while still making some progress. So I think this move is safe-ish.
Yeah, I would as well. This is not like overextending. We're not even pushing past the line that we really understand that we're kind of safe on. We're still keeping everything clean.
Okay, I'll go.
And thank you for that copyright for the range tables. People are looking at that as well for the bonuses. Now, as we predicted, the trooper did move. He did burn himself while moving, and so we can see he also has a flame graphic. If we target him and have one, we can see he's burning. Now, burn is going to do a minimum of 1 damage, right? We don't have grazes on burns in just basic Long War of the Chosen. So we know with 100% certainty that this guy dies next turn and is now no longer something we need to be concerned with. Instead, we're considering the next few pods. His running back could have set a pod on alert because he may now be within visual range of another pod that sees he is engaged. Have you happened with you to go extract supplies and when the mission starts 0 supplies there? Do you mean for a extract crate mission? That probably means there's a bug somewhere or a mod conflict if you're not having anything pop up, as I've never had that happen myself.
So yeah, I've seen that.
I would definitely go asking the Long War of the Chosen Discord as well. They may be able to give more insight than I would be able to this afternoon. So we do know this trooper's dead, and we want to get this loot here. Now, taking this loot and picking up this loot is probably going to be best done with Copyright. We're going to be in half cover. Copyright has a shotgun, so even if we do engage another pod, the positions we can move him are few and far between. And him being our specialist, we can either move him after or aid protocol. So that's what I would look at here first, right? Is let's get this loot, let's see if this triggers, and then get a little bit more information going forward.
I guess that'll be okay. I've got it.
We did not find anyone else, but we do now see a tower. And if we take a look, we can see that we could get blitz or squad video feed. Some of these tower hack rewards are going to be things that actually benefit you on the tactical, as both of these do. Others are things that are going to help you on the strategical. Things like supplies, intel, PCSs. Trying to think. Anything else? Alloys, Illyrium.
No, that's the typical stuff you're looking out for, yeah.
In the tower. The cell doors can have more of a variety, but typically the towers are just little tidbits here and there. Now we do have to worry about all this fire, because we are now blocking a lot of our own path. Though there is a little bit of a clean line there, but nowhere really to get some cover. So I think we instead probably want to maybe move up a little bit with Zopra.
The rooftop on the right side?
We can absolutely get up there. This would be a yellow move, and maybe we want to do that. Have Gregory scout, see if anything's there, and if we can create a new line for us to move to. You can get Illyrium from hacks, absolutely. What do you think, Ava? Move up here first, get a little bit more information.
Yeah, I'm torn between on the left hand side of the building or right to that little whatever that is unit. No, I mean on the right roof, but instead of moving on the edge of the roof, moving to the center cover piece, the high cover.
That's probably a really good position, and hopefully wouldn't reveal anything, but might give us a glimpse.
On the move.
There is Illyrium hacks, isn't there? I'm not going crazy that you can get Illyrium as a hack reward. I know you can, yeah. There might not be in Long War 2, but there is in Long War the Chosen, I believe.
I'm really not. I couldn't say one way or the other. Like
I feel like I recently have gotten Illyrium from hack rewards
It.
from an agent, and I was excited. Oh, hopefully someone could pull that up maybe on the GitHub and have some more insight on that for us. Now, I think I'm going to move corrections up, get a little bit more knowledge. We still have running gun available. We still have a decent amount of action economy, including a rocket if things go really awry. But I think we want to keep pushing forward and try to gather some information.
Move, move, move.
And with nothing being seen here, I feel a bit more confident moving up. In fact, we could also move our technical up to here. If we haven't seen any information at these points, keeping our soldier behind everyone else and moving to a position that is not peeking would not give us any more vision in case there is a pod there, like hanging out right in this little area, as well as gets us closer in the fight to take advantage of our flamethrower. This would limit our ability to use our rocket next turn, as moving after, or using the rocket after moving would reduce the aim and increase the scatter. But I think for an early mission, this is a fine position.
Yeah, I kind of like these moves where you basically get closer to the enemy, but not get any additional vision by having a wall of a building or something, or being inside a building blocking you. In this case, it actually might give us more information with Location Scout, because we might see now something on the other side of the wall due to the tracking effect from Location Scout. So this is a very safe move, and yeah, it sets us up for potential flamethrower action.
Already there.
Now, it does not look like Location Scout did give us any information, which tells me more that there's nothing right here, but we aren't going to actually get vision over this far. Location Scout is currently 14 tiles, right?
Yep. Yes.
So if we take a quick look, we know like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for this building. 1, 2, 3, 4 up to here. 5, 6, 7, 8. This would put us like right here, right? For that 14 tiles. It's not really anything more than our current vision radius on where our current pawns are, but again, through walls it can be really, really useful, especially if they are hiding in somewhere in the fog of war that we haven't gotten cleared out or gotten vision of. I do think we want to use this opportunity, since we do kind of know that this line right here is clean, having someone up here and multiple people move forward, to further move copyright up. Even though we're still keeping him in half cover, it's about pushing forward and beating those timers that way. And then I think we just use this opportunity to reload corrections. An Overwatch shot from corrections is not going to give us any benefit. He has a shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah,
every
shotgun and even SMG Overwatch, I think, is kind of not something I value all that much. So reload when you can. Yeah.
Locked and loaded.
And look at that, the one, all we needed. So now we've killed 2 pods. We know there's 5 left. More than likely this is a pod of 2 and a pod of 3. And we're looking to keep pushing forward to get towards the objective, our prisoner, our VIP here, and towards the evac. We do really, really want this loot. And so I think using corrections to get up here is good, because if we need to, we can run and gun our way forward into some full cover, or even fall back if necessary.
I guess that'll be okay. It's not explosive.
Greed is good.
Right?
We also have gained access to a lot more information now that we see most of the front of this building, and we haven't seen anything yet. Now, this is a door right here, and we got a little glimpse that it's open, which means that a patrol did come through. Actually, that might just be the window, though, isn't it?
think that's a window, yeah. The door, but there's a door on that side, but I think it's like 3 or 4 tiles to the right from that window.
Yeah. So I do think we
So-
are looking for more information and that we can move a little bit more aggressively forward this turn.
I guess one thing I don't have right now because of the way I'm spectating is I don't hear any game sounds, right? So I can't
Oh,
make out
yeah.
any.
I can try to share it through Discord as well if you want.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Sure. I didn't hear any sounds to help out that as well. There was no sounds of footsteps. We got no notifications. I didn't hear a door open. I didn't hear a window break. So I think I'm going to move a weird gal up, give us a little bit more information. And still nothing. This door is still closed. We now have enough information there to know that they haven't patrolled that way. There are ways we could try to get the graphics to load that door, but I don't think it's going to easily. And so I don't know if it's open or not if they're patrolling there.
My current guess is there's probably a group inside the building, and there might be one either on the right side here or on the rooftop. What about our rooftop right side goes?
So he's not going to have a position that's going to have him have in any cover, meaning if we do move him up here, which is what I do think we should do, we're also going to have to move him away, which is fine. Sometimes using your mobility just to get information is enough, and this will hopefully give us just a little bit more information over here. So if we don't find anyone, we can move people a little bit more aggressively for future turns.
What's over there?
We are going to get some information and actually find the pod. So now we need to
Bit of
decide.
an awkward encounter, yeah.
Well, now we need to decide, how do we take this engagement? Currently, right now, the only person that has any form of actual vision on them is Gregory over here, Gregor, while everyone else is further back and would force aggression from them onto us. Now, being in half cover is not ideal, especially with some shotguns. And so something else we can consider is moving up just a full cover, letting them take the shots that they want, and trying to get maybe a flashbang on either these two or the officer, which is what Copyright might be able to do from this full cover position. And so I think that's where I start before we do anything else. Yes, no?
Yeah, I think
Oh, okay.
the other option is, of course, to completely break line of sight to the whole squad, let them come into you. Now, that's a little bit tricky. We are on a timed mission. Reinforcements just turned into yellow, so we have to be ready for them in a few turns to drop in. So I think pulling back and letting them come to us risks that they also just stay back in Overwatch, and we have a bit of a stalemate. So yeah, I think so. Half aggressing is probably the right call here.
Well, and the other advantage of like pulling back though is when you have rifles, you're going to still get some chance of hitting, potentially increasing a little bit of damage, reducing like the amount needed for future engagements, like on what you need to do. When we have multiple shotguns here, to me that doesn't say fall back too much. So that means, to me, it says get cover, get up forward, and next turn you need to be able to get up and kill. And this is a very safe position. This officer is not going to be able to get into any position that's going to get a flank on us, so we're going to keep that full cover from any shot we might take. The officer may mark, but again, he's not actually in line of sight of Copyright from this position. We can see this on the target preview, and if we look at the officer, we do not have the little red dot saying we can shoot at this target. Advent follows pretty strict rules that XCOM does as well, where if I can't shoot you, you can't shoot me. The few exceptions of this are with squat sight and with mechs, but we'll get into that, I'm sure, when we get to a spark.
What's over there?
So we're in a fairly safe position that's unable to get a flashbang on those two, but we can get the flashbang on the officer, and the officer certainly is the deadliest and scariest unit that we're engaging right now.
Yeah, and that also then prevents the officer from marking us, so we keep that high cover value.
You watching?
Now, thinking about some of our other units here, we can pull back Gregor to here, who then next turn would be able to aggress, hopefully getting a flank depending on the movement they use. And they won't really be able to get any position to get a shot on him, so that would keep him very safe there. As far as like Zorba, Zorba, we probably do want to try and get into a full cover position, either down here inside the room or maybe even here. But we don't know if the other pod that we know is on the map, a pod of 2, is hanging out in this area or they're hanging inside. So going this far forward on the lamppost could potentially expose something as well as get us flanked. So I'm leaning much more into the inside here. With a weird gal though on the other end, we have a lot of the vision, and going into this position, because of the weird angle this is, wouldn't expose too much more.
Yeah, I would probably move Zora even just out to the street, to that kind of near where a weird girl is right now, to that full cover there.
Yeah, moving to this position is
closer to the action.
This position as well is probably a very good decision, because then we also get the open mobility instead of having to jump over objects to get out or break through glass. We can use Zorba next turn to get a grenade, help destroy some cover, and weaken them up. So I do agree with that. With corrections here, I do think corrections may be able to go to this full cover position. I don't know. The officer only has 6 mobility. He only has 6 mobility. I don't know if from this tile you would have that vision. I don't know if from this tile you would have that vision. I don't think you do.
I mean, the line of sight is there from that tile on the window on the left. The question is it 17 tiles? Is it in range actually of the officer from all the way over there?
With 6 mobility,
tile counting.
With 6 mobility, right?
Yeah.
He has to go over an object or around. I don't think he can actually get to these 2 tiles and take that shot. Now here, this would still be full cover, because he'd be leaning out this tile.
Yeah. 6 mobility is 4 tiles, right?
Yeah. So in my infinite wisdom,
so he can't get there.
Yeah. My infinite wisdom, I am gonna move corrections down there. We also sneakily just got some extra information because of Location Scout. Getting us closer is giving us information that the final pod that we're fighting is inside this building. So now we know for sure, without a doubt, that I could safely move Zorba here. And for sure, without a doubt, I can move a weird gal here. And there's no way that we would trigger anything else this turn.
Yeah, and I would totally do that for both of them.
On your order.
Just to kind of set up this L-shaped engagement where you get some flanks on the enemies.
And I'm going to keep Grigor over to the side. The officer is going to take the shot on the copyright into the full cover. Not even getting close, never worried. Trismillion, how are you? Yes, the earlier episodes are on Derava's YouTube channel, her second one. Do you have a link for that, Ava? We should get a command for that. Set up. And then this one will also be exported onto there within the next few days. Now, perfectly safe, as all things should be, we have a sentry who did take a shot, getting no value. Going into Overwatch, the trooper who moved to into Overwatch as didn't have a good shot at all, and the officer who also took a shot and got no value. Now we do have a couple Overwatches to clear, but lucky us, we also have lightning reflexes.
As you said before, against the first shot, you reduce the chance to hit by 100% or by 100 flat. Second shot, 80. So I think it's actually still safe here to run both Overwatches with our assault.
I do agree. The second thing I'm looking at is who we're going to kill and how we're going to kill them. Right? We know how we're going to clear the Overwatches. There is actually no position that Gregor is going to be able to get here that's going to get us a flank within a blue move. And so we may want to consider using some cheesier tactics like lobbing grenades over the edge of buildings, if it'll let me.
I doubt that you get it there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move him and do it.
Still have to jump down somewhere and then throw the grenade or move up.
Yeah, I think we come back to that guy in a second. The other option I was considering was the officer being the biggest threat. Would like a rocket. Now, We got to be a little careful about this rocket here. No, not even that careful. Gregor is very far away. We may want to take that rocket there to hopefully remove the cover of the officer and give us some more options.
Yeah, that's.
So really
rockets ahoy.
what I'm looking at right now is potentially just running gunning to this position, killing this trooper with a shotgun, clearing both those overwatches, beginning to work on the officer, and then Gregor could even flashbang the sentry if we're unable to control him this turn or get any damage out. So I think we're just going to start there, keep that full cover position, clear those overwatches. Gain that additional fun information from Location Scout that we're only fighting a sectoid and a trooper on the follow-up. And here's a good thing to see. We can take a look right now at the current stance that these units are in, and we know they're on green alert. If we take this shot because of sound range tables, we are going to put them on alert. They are close enough to hear this shot right now. And they should have gone into a little bit more aggressive stance. The trooper is no longer leaned back, but is instead legs are bent a little bit. He did change stance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he
was
was
standing upright, and now he's like shifting his weight to 1 foot to be able to run.
Yep, and they have shifted into yellow alert now. Knowing that they're in this position, though, is also good for us. They're more than likely, if their job is to flank, they have too much distance to travel to actually come get decent flanks on us. If their job is to aggress, they will be coming through this door, and we now know that we want to keep our full cover positions, both relative to this pod here and anything like these other two that we have active, right?
So I think we would, I would go with the rocket. I'm also kind of looking already, although that's for later this turn, to move our other rookie from the other side to flank from our end, right? To move him to that side door and maybe get
Oh,
some
absolutely.
action.
Since we know that these guys don't have the mobility to get all the way to us, we can safely move Zorba up here. But I think we do that on the follow-up as we make sure we can deal with this officer and see what the sentry has to
let's
offer.
make sure everything is dead here.
So we're going to center this as best as possible on the officer. The scatter is not too much, and the range of 1.12 tiles is going to be quite small.
Did we already talk about rocket scatter?
No, I don't think we have. Should I go back to that?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's like the thing is, something to keep in mind, and rip to those 2 civilians. That was a little bit unlucky.
It's just to talk about
what
another
it's
mechanic.
showing what it's showing there, the 1.32 is the average scatter that you get. So a rocket shot is always a certain number of dice rolls, and for each successful dice roll, you hit on target, and each missed dice roll. So it's basically like a hit chance roll, right? For each missed roll, you have 1 tile of scatter. So it's normally 4 dice rolls if we have the fire and the hold talent that we have. It's just 2 dice rolls, and if you move, then it's actually
It adds a
6
dice roll.
without fire. No, it adds 2 more dice rolls if you do it after a blue move.
Yeah.
And then also the hit chance is then based on
Aim.
aim and also on the distance. I have somewhere a full video going in all the details of the rocket scatter.
If you find it, feel free to link it to everyone, and maybe someday we'll just have to watch Ava's videos and be like, is that information still accurate?
It is. I actually created that with Long Wolf the Chosen, so it's fairly one of the more recent ones.
That is super useful to have. So now we have an officer, still at 5 HP, but fully exposed. Now, potentially against better judgment, I am keen to maybe move Copyright up to take this close range shotgun shot against the officer, even though it leaves us in full half cover against the sentry. The other thing I'm looking at here is teamworking and seeing that copyright does have a bond, but this is to a bond with someone who's already used all their actions, so we're not going to be able to teamwork our way out of there. Why is... Oh, there we go. I'm like, why is my tactical not doing what I want? If I take a look at Gregor over here, Gregor doesn't really have an angle to get any real advantage on anyone this turn. So what I more than likely want to do is move Gregor up and flashbang the sentry, or
It's about to suggest exactly that.
or I can move up and try to grenade the officer from some weird angle and try to lower him in case copyright is unable to finish the officer off. The other thing to consider here is that I can move Zorba up here into full cover, who then gets a flanking shot on the officer, and we probably want to start with this before relying on a shotgun in half cover or grenades to finish off. This would give us more options and more information depending on how this shot goes. Now Zorba does have 69 aim at rookie, which is quite good, and is kind
Do
of
you not have any full cover positions with copyright?
not that's going to get me a shot on the officer other than the one we have here at a 58, but not anywhere closer that I can see, because this would put us at a flanked position from the sentry as soon as the sentry decides to move.
Yeah.
So the half covers are the way to go. So I think with like all this information that we've gleaned, I think we do start with Zorba. We did talk about moving Zorba up to get a flank, but dealing with the pod at hand is much more important than the pod that we have not engaged.
What do you
On
agree?
your order.
Zorba's up to 79% chance to hit because of that wonderful graze band, but if we graze, we're only going to be grazing for 2, I think, or 1. But we do have a 24% chance to crit, so there's a pretty decent chance here of us both hitting and getting the full damage that we need.
Hostile terminated.
I'm kind of clairvoyant at this game at this point, I think. All right. So we already.
People are like, "Oh, this is pre-recorded. He knows what's happening."
It's just when you put 3,000 hours in the game, you start seeing the matrix, is how I'd like to call it. We already did talk about moving Gregor up and getting a flashbang onto the sentry. And so now the sentry, one, he could still shoot, but he can't actually go into Overwatch after that shot, which is fantastic. His mobility has been reduced to 8, or to 6, I'm sorry, 6, which is going to be 4 tiles. The position of this sentry and his movement is extremely limited right now. We do know that we're more than likely engaging this trooper and sectoid next turn, and as tempted as I am to move copyright up to this position, I also know there's a window and these guys may get yellow alert actions. There's a 35% chance for them to take a shot at us and a 35% chance of them to do a defensive ability, which for the trooper is Overwatch or Hunker Down. Sectoid is Hunker, because I don't think they can mine. Oh, they can create a zombie as well as a green alert action, and then yellow alert is both shooting and is mind spin a yellow alert action anymore?
Yes, I
Okay.
think they can mind spin on yellow alert. Fairly certain.
So really our safest position is to move copyright up here to this full cover, keep these cover positions, prevent them from using this window to get a flank, and everyone at that point is really in the safest position possible.
I also want to be as close as possible to utilize that shotgun.
I think Ava posted it, but you should be able to as well. Copyright, I should make sure that I can get this set up as well to be easier. Yeah, Sectoid can Overwatch too as a green alert.
Yeah. I posted the first link. I didn't enable the link, but the first link I posted there is the link to the channel with the live stream archives of all our co-op streams going on there, and the second link is the rocket scatter guy. That's an interesting move that they moved kind of away, moved to that side door.
So what that tells me is they got the job flank, right? There's a limited number of jobs. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but their jobs are basically the behavior patterns of what Advent wants to do. And when they change from green alert, which is always the job of patrol, they are typically given a flank objective, a aggress objective, or a defend objective. Defending means that they will stay near whatever the objective is of the map. If it's a hack objective, they'll stay by the hack. If it's a prisoner, they'll stay by the prisoner. But they tend not to sprint on those, right? Like they tend just to go towards it. I mean, this could be a defend, but when they're sprinting like towards the door, this tells me flank. Their job is to see where we are positioned and where we are most exposed, which is clearly on this side, and this is how they would get there. This does give us a great opportunity though to set up an ambush potentially next turn if we don't decide to trigger them this turn ourselves.
I think it could be a guard or flank. That definitely it's one of those. But yeah, I mean the sentry is basically fodder, right? We can just kill that guy with one of our shotguns there.
Well, by doing so, we may end up triggering, because if we go to this position, we are going to be leaning around the corner, which will activate this pod. But activating them on our turn means they don't take yellow alert actions, and we start getting more of that control in the engagement. So I'm quickly just taking a look at what we have available.
I think with location scout you would see the targeting icon if you actually had line of sight on them. So
you might be right, because they're not leaning against anything, and my lean in here would only give us a few tiles, which is fascinating. I love this game sometimes. I think I'm going to use copyright then to move up here so that we can keep corrections, who doesn't have running gun, but available to maybe come in and get another good shot if needed, or to use the frag grenade to help weaken them up, or maybe even reduce cover if lucky rolls. So I do think we start with copyright up here. Flanking shot a little bit far away, so we're going to need a little bit of an aim penalty, or not as much as an aim bonus. But we start there and see what happens. Sound good?
yeah, no, that's seems a safe position.
So even though we would be leaning in this way, we do not see them. They are still technically in the fog of war. The only reason we have this information
do you see what else we see in the targeting icons?
We do get access to a barrel. Now, the only time you can actually shoot these is when they are next to something they can hurt. This is a bit of a change from, I believe, Long War 2, which let us shoot them like willy-nilly if you just targeted with weapon, and made some maps quite annoying, as there was a lot of explosive objects that would always show up. Now, shooting this barrel doesn't actually give us that much benefit, though. It's only going to kill a trooper, which may contain loot, and it now takes away our wonderful 78% shot on this sentry here. But it is a good way, if you don't have location scout, to know where pods are based on that information. I'm going to take this shot. I think we need to figure out if the sentry's going to die, and then go from there. We get the 4, not the 5, not the crit. Copyright. Very proud of you still, nonetheless. Now, using this information that we have gleaned, that there is a pod here, and that this location is safe to go to, I do think just moving corrections to the full cover, taking that second shot is fine, and then we'll set up to deal with this pod on the next turn.
What's over there?
Sounds like a good plan.
There we go. We did it. We missed the 93%. And now we have to panic a little bit, because we have put ourselves in a flanked position from a sentry. None of our shots at this point are going to be flankable shots, so now we might be just taking like a few Hail Marys, or we could even Overwatch with the hope that he does want to move.
He will move because he's flanked himself, and he's also on 1 health, so he might actually move towards the other pod and not even engage us, if we're lucky. I think I would pray for the Overwatches.
I'm going to keep Gregor up here,
Okay, I'll go.
as he's going to get that aim advantage. We are just going to reload Zorba, and then we're going to put a weird gal, I believe, in this full cover position, as these guys are, as we recall, potentially trying to flank us.
Heading out.
Getting closer as well reduces the range penalty for the SMG range table, so now we have no penalty here. So Overwatch is not going to be great, and arguably might be better for us just to shoot at 33%, but shooting into full cover, in my experience, is less impactful than an Overwatch shot on classes that don't gain any benefit from doing so. Things like Locked On do make it beneficial. Cool Under Pressure on Overwatch is certainly beneficial there. The one that the Reapers get, where they can shoot through full cover without the armor penalties. But I think in this,
Sharp, yeah.
yeah, I think in this case we do just want to Overwatch.
Moving to Overwatch.
I would be keen to take a 41% though from the high ground. This is not a bad shot. If we miss, we have fallback solutions. If we hit it, we put ourselves in a lot safer position as well. What would you do?
I'm kind of leaning because it's also going to be our best Overwatch shot to keep him on Overwatch.
I can agree with that. And I'm definitely keen to see this play. Since we had a reload here and we do know these guys are coming and we do have full cover protection, I don't see a reason to move Zorba to another full cover position. Instead, take the Overwatch, and if they come out to try to peek or anything, see if we can't get a little bit of advantage there. The sentry, predictably, has moved. And that was a great Overwatch shot. So well done, Ava.
I mean, we don't know if the regular shot would also have fed, so...
Sure.
The activation, okay.
And the activation seems to work a little bit in our favor, if we want to risk losing some loot. Now, we don't really have a good position to get a flank on either of these enemies, but something we could do is Correction does have a frag grenade. We can move up to the half cover, frag this area, which would more than likely also destroy this object, which only has 2 HP. Objects typically in the world only have 2 HP, so you can roll ones and not do anything against them at times. There are specific ones that are going to have 6 HP, and all destructibles do 6 damage by default unless you have perks to modify that. But I think since we don't have good vision on him, and something like this over here would get us in a position to clear the Overwatch, I think we just move up, grenade, and go from there.
The other thing is though, if we shoot the barrel, that will blow up part of the wall and might give us actually a flank shot on the sectoid.
You don't think the grenade's gonna blow up that barrel as well?
But you're grenading with the only guy who can get in and potentially get the flank. That's my concern, man. So that's I would rather shoot with someone who can't get in anyway.
Well, in that case, then let's use Copyright. Oh, Copyright has a good shotgun. Why don't we bring a Weird Gal up? Ooh, we might actually be able to get the burns if we don't get the kill on the sectoid, or can't get a good flank. You know, I want to take a look at something real quick. I'm gonna move Copyright up here, and we're gonna see if we can't take advantage of some of the funkery of flamethrower. No, it's not gonna let me peek over. Sometimes it will, but unreliable. Okay. Why don't we just use a Weird Gal?
Yeah, absolutely. Then
Use a Weird Gal.
Shotguns who can run in and hopefully do something against the sector.
And we did destroy the entire wall.
Did
No
not
damage.
destroy any loot.
And now we're just gonna take it.
Out in the open. We have 2 flanks.
Yeah, we're just gonna take advantage of this. I'm not going to actually take this shot just yet. We've already noticed that we missed a 93% shot earlier.
I'm trusting you here.
And so I want to see what Copyright value is at 74% before I just commit an 89 that may do not. There's no way this one shot can actually get this kill, right? Max damage we could do is 8. And we do have a stun.
It's an assault. We have a stun gun, right?
Well, that's why I want to start over here with Copyright, you know? See what damage we get, what value. And we get 4. So now we have the hard decision to make on, do we think we hit 5 on an 89% shot?
The rookies cannot get any shots, right?
Let's go take a look real quick.
Very surprised if they can.
Yeah, I don't see... Ooh, we have 1 position with Gregor. He does have the assault rifle, a 76% chance. If we get any damage, I think we take the shot with our shotgun. If not, I think we go for the stun. Gregor. Now, why I think the shot versus the stun is this should be... Oh, you actually get a bonus with weapon range? Oh, you get additional accuracy bonus with this. Well...
I think the smart thing is then to take the stun if it's 100%.
Yeah.
That's really played safe, right?
what I was going to go into was typically your stun is still based off your aim. You do get aim bonuses for being closer with the stun gun, like you would with the shotgun if you're even closer. And if these were the same percentage, I would take the shot because a kill is gonna roll the same as that stun at that point, and gives the same effect. But in this case, we definitely need to go with a little bit of safety. Let's get our people moved up. Let's make sure that this sectoid doesn't laser us. Sectoids have a higher base crit than most classes that Advent has. And if he were able to get into a position where he'd be able to get a flank, which is quite a few positions around here, coming outside the door, even aggressing up, that could be a very, very long wound timer. And then we'll just use Zorba to get closer. So now we have the fun question on what do we do with the RNF and who kills the sectoid?
I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards a weird gal, simply because I don't care too much about the SMG Overwatch on the reinforcements. Well, I mean, I could say the same thing about the shotgun.
I actually agree though with the SMG on a weird gal. Now, something that we do know at Force Level 2 is there is not a single enemy that can come in on an RNF that can actually overwatch or do any action when they come in. There is no enemy that actually gets a shooting action from RNF, other than, I mean, CCS in some weird situations, but not really. Is there anything that can actually hurt you when they come in, like as they land anymore?
Well, I mean, a purifier, if you blow him up and he blows up in your face.
True. So, since we know this is the last enemy on the map, though, I'm going to leave a weird gal out in the open. And next to the sectoid, for that very reason, right? The sectoids have a high chance of dropping loot, and they drop very good loot. To keep the benefit of our action economy, by putting a weird gal next to the sectoid, not only do we get increased aim, but if I put the sectoid, or put a weird gal a tile further away, while the shot would still have been 100%, I would not have been able to collect the loot immediately, and we would have had to move someone in there to do that. The other thing that I'm considering doing here is hacking with copyright and then moving instead of reloading. It is a shotgun. We know we're going to get Overwatch from the RNF, but a shotgun Overwatch is not fantastic. Sectopodding, so neither of those can come in from RNF, like ever. And I believe only a sectopod is something on a Doom RNF, a Doom reinforcement, right? Or Gatekeeper, I'm sorry. You can get a Gatekeeper from the summon, but I do not think you can get a sectopod. We do have two choices here, and one of these is quite appealing, and the other is really, really appealing. You have any thoughts, Ava?
I'm a greedy person, and like reducing contact cost is such a huge bonus, especially if it's applied to a region that's 2 away. You're saving 67 intel on that. So,
and the small cache is only 10 intel. 10 intel, yeah. I'm gonna be a little greedy as well. I'm gonna click that watch list. Now, fun little tidbit about this. If you had noticed before I click past this, it looked like we almost got that. The game is lying to you. When you fail a hack, it doesn't actually tell you what roll you got. It does a roll to see if you pass or succeed, and then there's another calculation to show what it should show and how close you were, and it's a part of that system to try to think that you might have gotten that. When in reality, it could have been any one of those, 53 numbers of failure, and we have no idea what. If you succeed, it shows you an accurate representation of where it was on the bar, and you can kind of determine what you rolled there.
So a failed roll will always look much closer than what actual roll happened, but yeah, it still hurts every time.
Yeah. On this mission, we do actually have to open the door. This is not like the jailbreak when you're getting rookies and resistance personnel where you can just hack it and you gain full control. When you're doing a rescue of VIP from a jail cell, you do have to physically go open the door and see the objective to get control. Now, before I move Donna Cole out, since the position that it looked like she would be able to go furthest is going to be blocking a door to get us closest to the evac, I'm instead going to move Copyright. Copyright doesn't have ammunition to even Overwatch right now, and instead of reloading, I think it's better just to get Copyright moving. We're also going to take a look at our rookies here, and I don't think reloading is worth it. I think trying to get these guys closer to the evac, and so we can potentially get everyone out next turn, is probably a better
I think we
decision.
should be able to just get out next turn.
Yeah.
And because fighting reinforcements doesn't gain you everything, right? We've reached the kill limit, the kill XP limit of the mission, which is we got nine enemies were on the map. When we loaded in, we have 9 kills. That's the maximum amount of XP we can get from this mission. So reinforcements never drop any loot. So there's really nothing to be gained about, except for the moral victory of killing some characters.
Does this recalculation actually change the expected role being displayed? I mean, does the role use uniform distribution, right? So it's just a draw of how far below it should go, right? If you fail, it rolled correctly the first time, and it's like if you didn't pull the next number in the string to like actually succeed, because we could get into that whole discussion on how seeds work at some point. It just redraws it to make you think that you were closer on that. So XCOM seeds, from my understanding, correct me if I'm giving any of this information is inaccurate, is there's a string of numbers, and every time that you do an action that pulls a number, it pulls from this string, right? So this is why when you reload, the string shifts, but then that reload always is the same every single time until you change which one you're pulling, right? And so it doesn't matter like what we're shooting at, right? If we're shooting at a target with it intentionally makes it seem closer is what we're talking about. That recalculation, it's only the draw that it's showing closer. You didn't actually get closer or get a second roll there, if that makes sense.
So basically, as I understand it, I think it was explained like years ago when the game came out. Someone explained it to me. So we had 47% to succeed there, right? So it rolled a number and it got something between 1 and 52, right? Which is a fail percentage. Let's just say it rolled 16, failed. So then makes a second roll between 1 and 52 only. So a roll that will guarantee be in the fail category, and then it displays you whichever one of these two rolls was the closest to the actual success. You know, just as a visual indication of, oh, you got so close, but you still failed. So it's really just Jake Solomon trolling the player in this place.
Yes. Time-dependent rolls? I don't think there's time-dependent rolls. From my understanding on how it pulls from everything from a shot to a dodge to a graze and stuff, it's there's just a string of numbers and it goes to the next number in the cycle, right? And then when you reload, which is really the only time you get to see how this works, is that it cycles it once, it drops the next number, and so now you have a new string that you're using until you use one that rolls. Like if you take that shot every single time, it's going to get the same result every single time after that, until you do something that changes the seed. And that can be from everything from changing the percentages and taking the shot right. So if you get closer, hollow target, things like that. Oh, it might be using the current time. I don't know how it generates the seed. Of like what the current time when you load in the mission, you mean?
I think it might even be just like when you the seed is created when you create the campaign, and then everything's based on that. But I don't know. Like,
yeah, I have no idea where it gets it from either.
Yeah.
Another success beyond all expectations.
You think it's to obfuscate the seed, as in if you reload the same seed, if you keep trying to hack, it looks like you're getting different rolls? It might be. It might be to obfuscate the seed on the reloading, but again, we play Iron Man, so knowing that information does nothing for us, though, right? Because it's not like knowing that there is a string there doesn't change how we play, as the goal is still to remove that level of RNG, right? To create those differences on the seed itself to be as minimally impactful as possible, right? It's always nice to hit a 79% shot. It sucks to miss a 93% shot, but there's no way that we would ever have known where we are at or what's coming up next, because every action is permanent for us, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So we do get
got two rookie promotions, right? Do we go into the barracks, see our class count, and make try to make informed decisions. I'm not even sure where we're at right now.
I think we do our best to. We do have an Elerium core, 2 more hair triggers, and a laser sight. All right. Now, we can quickly glance at our icons up here. Beautiful icons because of configs I have set. That we have 1 assault, 3 grenadiers, 1. Wait, is that gunner or grenadier icon? Isn't that the grenadier?
Also, I feel like the icons have a little bit of a disadvantage.
I have configs changed for my mod jam campaign, right? Which is why this shows up. Okay, so 3 gunners or 3 grenadiers, 1 gunner. I have to look at this. A ranger,
Ranger.
sharpshooter, 2 sharpshooters, 1 shinobi, 2 assaults, and 1 specialist.
So we're gonna get an assault, a gunner, a ranger, or a sharpshooter from the promotions. Or specialist. No, what's the last one? Technical.
Technical, that's right, technical. So, with that in mind, do we
It makes
care
much of a difference.
is there anything bad that these can actually get?
No. Like the 69 aim on a technical would feel a little bit wasted, but then again,
The 13 mobility on the assault would feel a little bad. That being said, I think it's better for us to go with the 13 mobility characters. There's more options for him. And if we don't roll the assault on Zorba, we've now increased the chances of Gregor being an assault. Right? That's how math works.
I'd rather both of them roll the sharpshooter or the gunner.
Sure, but that's how math works, right? I'm doing math on stream right now, and this might be embarrassing. I'm gonna take this risk with Gregor. Oh, we shouldn't have talked about it. Should not have talked about it. In the meantime, let me get the. We're gonna use Pawn Me. Pawn Me as the redemption for characters in this campaign right now. So we rolled a 13 mobility assault.
I mean, it's not great, but it's not terrible.
He has disabling shot in his XCOM row, as well as Deadeye.
And Deadeye, I feel like, has no value whatsoever in an assault. I'm not like most of the time. If you take rapid fire, then rapid fire is probably always going to be better, more damage than Deadeye.
I agree.
For less of an aim, same aim penalty.
It's such similar damage that I typically would not spend the AP on Deadeye, but disabling shot, especially with a class that gets close and crits quite often, even with lower mobility, is super tempting to look at. But that's a bit of the ways off. You can check out Derava's assault guide video. I'm sure he's touched upon the subject there. It being 40 AP though is questionable. That's something that maybe I want to invest in.
Especially with average combat intelligence. Now, something I've not built in a while is a rifle assault. Like with hidden run, basically with the low mobility, not being able to get in with a shotgun, having a rifle for long range weapon. But I think you're giving up a lot of the strength of an assault by doing that. So that's probably one of the reasons why I haven't built one of those in a while.
Yeah, I think we'll come back to this guy throughout the campaign. We'll have to keep an eye on his mobility and look for some PCSs for him. All right, Zorba, who actually hit their shots. Technical. The 2 things that we were kind of afraid of there manifesting themselves. Now, fun little thing we have going on here, though, with this technical, is they do have pretty decent mobility, right? 14 mobility, while not the highest mobility, is certainly not bad. We are going to want to give them SMG. Sentinel with holo targeting in your AP row. And while AP things, I guess we should talk about this, like, neither of us get the training center very early in campaigns. So these are typically bonuses to a class to increase their strengths already. And they're just a little fun to check out early on. Heat warheads.
Yeah, so
Is-
sorry to interrupt you there.
go for
Heat
it.
warheads, even though it's called warheads, it only affects grenades, so it kind of has no value whatsoever. And
That's
I'm like, you know,
that's what I was about to go
everybody
into.
go to the Longbow of the Chosen Discord right now to the suggestion channel and say, hey, it's called heat warheads. It should apply to rockets. Anyway, I think holo targeting, since I usually pick up Shredder on my technicals, I think that's a good combination. And too, you know,
Yeah.
soften up an enemy and make it easier for the rest of the squad to finish them off. That's like the one big thing. A Sentinel, I'm not sold on.
Oh, I agree. I'm more targeting these just so we can talk about them. They're fun little things. Sentinel, the issue here is while you can still find value, especially with a higher aim, is we're not going to have things like cool under pressure, which really is where Sentinel starts shining, and we're using an SMG, so our damage table is low. But something like holo targeting on a class where we are more than likely every single time picking up Shredder, as it's one of the few ways to get Shredder without ammunition, is really, really strong. This is whatever target like we're targeting is typically going to be big sectopods, gatekeepers, mechs. Getting rid of that armor and every shot after giving some additional aim. This is fantastic. So for this one we're going to be using the Pawn Me Redemption in chat to get characters in the name. We are not using either of our character pools, and so no one made the boat early on. Other options that are appealing on the XM row are really nothing. Flush is kind of garbage when we don't even take roost, right?
But there's one thing which I've never tried so far, but I always say, oh, maybe I want to try that. Flush reduces the enemy's dodge for the rest of a turn, doesn't it?
Confers defense and dodge penalties and forces them to move change targets. 10 defense and 30 dodge.
So I'm not sure how that dodge reduction interacts with a Chosen that has Infighter, for example. Like, could you basically prepare the Warlock so that your Assault or your Ranger can go in with the shotgun without getting this 40 dodge from Infighter?
Flush's poverty walkfire is a good way to put it. I don't know. I don't think I've ever taken Flush on anyone recently. Enough to, I mean, I might have taken a gunner with it at one point. But I don't know. I don't know how it works with the Chosen. That's a really good question.
Probably if this campaign survives this long and that we spend the 30 on holo targeting and then have some AP over and don't know what to do with, then I guess Flush is probably an option.
Yeah, certainly. Let me
Might
hand out
just be
these.
damn good ground.
Let me hand out these characters real quick. So we got Joker up in here. Gonna be a technical, and then I think we have some more rookies as well for Astro Boy. We just assigned the Assault, right? Yeah, Gregor here can be Astro Boy. We'll do that. There's nothing else to take, just take it for the occasional kill confirms? Yes, because it does have an aim modifier, right, on Flush as well.
Yeah, 30 aim is fairly significant, yeah.
Donna Cole got a promotion out here. Our new Grenadier. Levy will hook you up with this Donna Cole here. So taking a quick look at Donna, we see, I think I'm blocking a little bit of these aim stats. Hold on, let me just, whoop. New position.
Why was Donna Cole here with a promotion? We didn't she was not on that mission.
Was our VIP a Grenadier? Our VIP was a Grenadier. This was our VIP we pulled out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 73 aim, 4 health, 9 dodge, and 15 mobility Grenadier. You know what this tells me? Like, I wish you were a Ranger. Yeah, that's why we also have 3 Grenadiers.
Watch them run as a XCOM row perk, huh?
Watch them run is I've been having a lot of fun with this on skirmishers today. More value than I actually expected. Quite a lot.
Yeah. Officer and lead by example is tempting. I'm not sure what did we already decide on any route for our Grenadier?
Let's go take a look real quick. So we have Detrix, who's at 70 aim, and we have a Needle Grenadier with a typing 8. I think Detrix was supposed to be our support because of things like having Smoker and Hollow targeting and Coup de Grace. right?
Yeah, and there was the whole idea of flashbanging your enemies for yourself and then shooting them.
Yeah, Miguel, how are you? Yeah, we were having that discussion. I don't think we really decided upon it too much.
I mean, we can have two support grenadiers as officers. That's totally.
I'm down for it. I think she's got quite decent aim. Like 73 base aim is pretty good. And then we're looking at potentially watch them run. Average combat intelligence says we're getting about what 55 XCOM AP total. And then with watch them run, we get steady aim on that Overwatch as well.
So someone should really make a list, like what your total XCOM AP will be for each combat intelligence level.
Finn, how are you? I think Nicola has one somewhere, and I don't know where it is. We should ask him. Do you want to go support though? Get rapid deployment out.
Yeah, let's do that.
Are we going to be going into protector and then formidable, or do you want to go with the blue screen? And by the way, I still think it's tandem. I don't like. I mean, maybe we're never taking the offensive grenade here, though. I don't know.
Yeah. So if you go with protector, right, then that's probably the person you give the frost grenade to, and then you probably just run with flashbangs and frost. So neither tandem nor heat have any value whatsoever.
Neither does dense at that point either. Nuke, how are you? Good to see you.
So it's like it's a dead pick, I think, on a support grenadier. So whatever. I like then just to pick tandem, just to make people mad who always think that tandem is a bad pick. And then into obviously sting grenades and
volatile mix. If we're going frost, I think it has to be volatile mix there.
Yeah. I like salvo on an officer really for the action economy, but volatile mix for the frost bomb is just so good to get even more targets frozen.
Into the full kit, or ghost grenade. Ghost grenade is also very valuable there. I have not checked the wiki, and Miguel, welcome. New to Long War of the Chosen, just found in the workshop, never played, but played the hell out of XCOM 1 in its first iteration. Well, welcome. Long War of the Chosen is absolutely fantastic. Long War 2 was great, and I think like the Long War of the Chosen team has done a really good job of keeping, true to that idea that it is a longer guerrilla war, while also keeping the difficulty and cleaning up a lot of the poor code that was there before. I think it's fair to say. But all right, we're going to take the point here on rapid deployment. This is going to let us be able to throw a support grenade without costing an action, which is fantastic for your flashbangs. And early on, I think we even keep a smoke, right? We go 2 flashbangs, 1 smoke. Yeah. What else do we have available here? We have a specialist, copyright. Our shotgun specialist. Average is 6 AP per rank.
Having the shotgun is really turning out quite well so far.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I'm loving how that we've already decided that we're going to take field surgeon. Again, I do recommend everyone checking out Ava's class videos here for these. It's a shame that there's really only one option at corporal. We meme about this a little bit. Okay, covering fire is not actually bad if you do take the sentinel build, because it does reduce the aim of the targets you're shooting at. The issue is, though, it competes against field surgeon. What field surgeon does is it says at the end of a mission, 1 point of damage that you've taken is completely ignored for your wound calculation roll, right? It is basically 1 free ablative. It is you got poisoned and took a point of damage, you no longer took that. You took fall damage, which goes through ablative. We mitigate 1 point of that fall damage. There's just so much value in field surgeon to keep your soldiers healthy, to keep them going out, that it's really hard to see anything else being more valuable than that. Unless you're perfect and you never get shot at, I would say turn up the difficulty at that point. Any thoughts to add?
No, nothing else to add, absolutely. Especially on the last point.
Yeah. Tedster, how are you? Good to see you, man. Technical. Well, 13 mobility technical using the SMG. I see that we already decided what we're going to do here, so I think we've probably talked about this, but we keep talking about technicals as well with the value shredder. Heat warheads doesn't work here, so it's not very good. this is our standard flamethrower build. You always take fire in the hole, mostly because, you know, going from that 4 dice roll that we were talking about earlier to a 2 is a massive amount of potential damage and unrealized damage, right? Like if you're without moving, you're at 4 dice rolls, you're still missing that group pretty often. But fire in the hole does make that rocket have value. And then Napalm X, you may not have burned them, but you might have panicked them, and that is also very, very strong. And you might have burned and panicked them, keeping them in that fire, keeping them in position for you to follow up. It's just a really good perk, especially on an opener. If you open on a pod, on HQ, troop column, supply raid with a flamethrower, applying both burns and panics, keeping groups in the open there to clean them up quickly and nicely is so much value. There are worlds you do take biggest booms, by the way, guys. Like if you're going rockets, biggest booms is great, but for us, that flamethrower value is quite a lot.
Yeah, like biggest boom's not a bad perk, but the thing is, rockets is kind of I don't want to say bad, but a little bit underwhelming since you only have 1 rocket, at least until you get battle suits. Then you can get a second one, but that's still you know, you're running out of rockets very quickly.
You run out of flamethrowers quickly as well, but you tend to get more value out of your flamethrower because a lot of the times you can use your flamethrower after an opener, right? You can use it to gain control of a situation, to panic things, to burn things. Burn is more control than just damage on a lot of bigger units as well. You're not going to kill a group of mutants probably with a rocket typically, right? Or what else has a lot of HP? And Zerka's not a good example. Nausas even later, right? Vipers, nausea, they all have more HP than you're probably doing with your rocket typically, but a burn that shuts them down that turn and the next turn, gives you time, gives you control. And that's what I think is important to look at. It's how do you keep control? All right, good clean mission.
Let's find us some more missions, huh?
Yeah, we still don't have the funds for the GTS, which is more than likely our first building, as we are going to want to go to Vulture and Wet Work. And we did get intel.
Probably get to the black market and sell like 1 Elerium core and have the GTS building. But I think even the flight time to the black market and back is, I think, too much. I would rather find missions first because we have too many people sitting around. Well, doing nothing.
And we just made contact. This was a very late contact with the second region. We are looking to maximize our timers. We do not know if there are faceless in this haven, which could hinder our ability to find timers, especially if we're not there. So I agree. I think we're scanning. We got intel as our intel package, our point of interest, which is great. Certainly going to help us in the future, but we can hold off before we go and grab that.
Is one thing important about the points of contacts on the map that's true both in Long War of the Chosen, but also Vanilla XCOM. I'm not sure what mod exactly it is, but there's a mod that shows us when this will expire. So I think it expires in 10 days at the moment. You can at any point go there, scan for an hour, and then that resets the expire counter again to like 10 to 15 days. So you could, in theory, keep this indefinitely on the map. If you have something more important to do, just keep an eye on it. You don't want those to expire. They're too valuable to pick up.
So we have a question here of no death rate timer on the map. So the Avatar project does not show themselves until after you have liberated your first region, right? And as far as mods active, we are currently running on the minimalist mod list that I have. You can using !! Long War the Chosen. This is not using any other additional mods. This is purely just Long War the Chosen, and the entire intent of this campaign is to over-explain everything about it, really, for all things Long War the Chosen related. As Av is playing currently a Long War the Chosen with a specific objective, as well as a mod gem campaign. I have a mod gem campaign, but we wanted to come back with the full Steam release and really dive into the nitty gritty and hopefully have a good resource for people to look back on or to pick up tips as they play their own campaigns. Yeah, I'm gonna scan over here in Western Europe. We're looking for timers like that. Okay, so now some of you guys might be saying, didn't you just finish making contact? The liberation timers all spawn at the exact same time, regardless of whether or not you have contacted the regions. There is a variance on these timers. but they are always running in the background regardless. So this showing up at 2 days does not tell us that the other missions in this area are at 2 days. It simply tells us that this is probably when we had liberation over here around the same time, right? Because this should be a liberation timer.
Yeah, so liberation can spawn on legend from after the first supply drop, which was 7 days ago in this game. So like 9 days ago that mission spawned, and we only detected it now with 2 days left. So yeah.
Yeah, and we detected this one as well, but they're fairly close in timers. They do spread out over a campaign as there's variance for every mission that spawns. But now we have accurate information over here that in 2 days we can hopefully find our Liberation 1. Our timers in this campaign have been less than ideal. But there's also been a slight shift. I don't know if we want to talk about this.
Why though?
I don't know. Now I get to laugh like a little girl. We are now at strength 3 in Western Europe and strength 1 in Eastern US. Lack of missions being run, really.
I think I would probably ignore the strength shift. It's like we're still going to be able to do 10 to 12 missions, and I'm sure sooner rather than later it will shift back to North America.
Yeah. So we got our first mission though in Western US or Western Europe. It's gonna be a smash and grab. We see it's on the Wilderness map, and we know quite a few things about this as well. Like we are going to start without concealment. This is going to be a 4 to 6 crate mission, and we got a pretty decent timer. We do have the sit rep something in the air. If we crit, our allies near us gain a bonus to crit and aim, and if Advent crits, they as well get that bonus. So we're going to put together a team. It looks like we only have the Timberwolves. We do have our Templar as a Haven Advisor, and I actually think, real quick, while we... You know what? We're going to ignore the squads for the moment. Let's just ignore the squads.
Yeah.
So we're going...
We set up squads at all.
Yeah.
We just used the default ones that are there.
I think so.
So it's a smash and grab. We start with concealment. So ideally, we would want to have a Shinobi there. Unfortunately, we only have one Shinobi, I think.
We do, and they are on another mission.
And they're on the mission, so
let's think. We more than likely want to grab our Templar for this. Templars are quite good and strong, and getting them experience is quite valuable to us as well. What is Region Strength and how do you grow it? Region Strength is the representation of how many legions Advent has in that area. The more strength there is, the more units that you're going to be facing on each mission. It goes up by trying to match strength to vigilance. We do not use Commander's Choice in this run. We take them as they come. But I do think we want to grab the Templar here, start getting that experience, while it might also be good to keep the Templar back. The lack of missions we have does mean that we need to focus our soldiers a little bit more than you would have to on a semi-average campaign, I would say. Since we're bringing the Templar, I think I want to bring the Specialist. The Specialist has the Field Surgeon and Revival Protocol pick. This is our Shotgun Specialist. They're kind of our Templar's babysitter. Lower is better to run missions in, yes. Lower strength regions. Since we're bringing the Specialist, who's your bondmate? A weird gal?
Yeah, I think that can work.
Grab our technical as well. Keep a couple grenades there. And then I think on a mission like this, in the wilderness, we know we're going to be outside. There's typically going to be some high ground. Grabbing a sharpshooter does not seem like a bad idea. If we end up with only 5 crates, they don't really have to get too involved either. Disappointingly, we don't have an advanced stock or a stock at all. But I still think we're looking for that value.
Yeah, I think we still bring the sharpshooter. We don't have anyone higher ranked, right? Nobody that actually has death from above yet.
We do have Astro. Whoops.
And they have an stocked there.
I'm gonna do this real quick to make my life just a little bit easier moving forward. And we're gonna say we're gonna have the Templar, we're gonna have the Specialist, we're gonna have a weird gal. We'll clean those up later. But yeah, so as I was saying here, Astro Boy does already have the promotion. We have Death from Above. They do have a stock as well. I think bringing them is good idea. No one's really going to be a bystander on this mission, especially with us going up against potentially 10 to 12. Or we're going to need people that can hopefully get kills and get an advantage. Now for our last 2 slots, as we certainly can fit 2 more people, I do think we want to consider bringing 1 rookie at least and trying to get another promotion out. Since we know our XCOM deck currently includes a gunner, a shinobi, and that's it. I believe those are the 2. We want to think about what would be good for both of those.
Gunner, Ranger, and Shinobi are the 3 we're missing.
Oh, and a ranger, yes.
So I would probably actually take someone with high-ish aim, like the 71 you're looking at there.
Paul Wilson.
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, I'm also looking at potentially Paul Williams here. 70 aim, 29 will compared to the 16.
Because he's hidden behind your head.
Oh, well, there's just no happy medium. I can just get rid of the face cam, but like this is half the selling point of my stream is my good looks. The other one I was looking at is Paul Williams here. 11 dodge, 14 mobility, 4 health, 70 aim, 29 will. If this ends up being a shinobi, this is a fantastic shinobi. If it ends up being a gunner, fantastic gunner, and ranger. All 3 of those are classes we use a lot, so having the additional will is probably advantageous to us, right?
Yeah. Can you check? Like, Paul Williams just seems better than Paul Wilson, but Paul Wilson I assume has higher combat intelligence.
He's got high combat intelligence, yes, compared to low. We could take advantage of that because all 3 of those classes we are using a lot. We can always give a will PCS and work from there.
Yeah, so I'd say take Paul.
Okay, thanks. I'll take the Wilson on this one. Can you just tell something about ModJam since it's from the Steam Workshop that I got here? Sure, I'll touch briefly upon ModJam. So ModJam is another mod list that is built on top of the Long War of the Chosen engine. We are currently not using that. I do stream that though, Monday through Friday, as the normal stream thing. That adds in new classes, new aliens, new techs, a whole lot of new experiences. And while a lot of fun, is not what we're really going to go into here today, certainly, as it's everything that you're learning here plays a part in ModJam, but ModJam would be its own thing and is really just a smorgasbord of new experiences. But
can you fit in a 6-person here? Or
I think I can, and I'm considering going with Gregor here. We barely make it. We have the time. We don't have lightning reflexes.
Yeah, either him or one of our 3 grenadiers.
So the grenadier now is using. Oh, well, yeah. Okay, as soon as we add any equipment, because the grenadier is using a secondary heavy weapon and having additional slots, it puts us a little close. We always want to keep 2 hours on our window for flight time.
But if you swap the weapon to an SMG, I know they have good aim, but
we could certainly do this. We certainly could do this. Now, do we want the assault of the grenadier? And this is our support grenadier.
I'm kinda I'm leaning towards the grenadier, especially our support grenadiers. If we want to level them up, level them early.
Do we take 2 flashbangs and 1 frag to begin with?
I think I'd rather go with 2 frags, 1 flashbang.
Yep. Yeah, especially against 10 to 12, like
And
we're
then
gonna
maybe
use it on 1 pod.
evaluate, like you have like a flashbang on every single other guy. I think Weird Gal, you could just remove some stuff for more mobility.
I'll get rid of. I think I'd rather bring the flashbang than the frag on a Weird Gal. I don't think our sharpshooter needs this at all, and I think we keep it like that with the rookie. In the early game, do you want as many, or do you, okay, in early game, you do as many missions as you can, question mark? Yes. truly want to keep running as many missions as you can. Ideally 3 squads always running, 4 squads if you can with multiple regions. Depending on the difficulty, you can get to 5 squads also a lot sooner. The more missions you are doing, the more resources you are generating, the more experience you are getting, the quicker you are getting above the curve.
The only exception I would make there is, so there's a mission type that's called Get Advance Attention, which increases the vigilance in the region by a fair amount. That's a bit of a trap that it can get too much attention in the early game. Like later in the game, that's a mission you can take, and that's usually easy XP. But early game, that can really screw over your starting regions by putting in too much strength. So that's kind of the only mission I would avoid unless I desperately need experience.
Yep, but you do want to be taking like as many missions as possible. I think this is a fine squad. We're gonna get another mission here very shortly, and we'll get another promotion out, which for a soldier that we'll be very happy with, regardless of what they become.
Cool. Sent them on the way.
I love how it's been 2 hours and we've ran 1 mission. This is truly the over-explained campaign. Alright, we're gonna search for another mission hopefully over here. 6 days, 10 hours. And we just gained some very interesting information without even seeing our geoscape. So, we do see that this is 7 to 9, which immediately tells me that strength went back down to 2 from Western Europe, and it did not go to Eastern US. I want to just comment on that real quick. This mission has now gone to baseline 7 to 9 as well, expecting 10 to 12 when we set that up. And so our geoscape is having a little fun with us. Now, this is going to be an extracted VIP that we are going to start revealed. Too bad we don't have a Shinobi to be pulled out of there, but we are going to be getting a Shinobi and an intel package from this, and we are looking at a city center map. Our sit reps are going to be resistance contacts, which means if we go run up to them, they may give us a little bit of some supplies, as well as a large map. So it's going to be a little bit more of a dash than just a regular map would be.
Commander, I'm getting faint traces of a signal coming through.
And what is also great, whenever you have a mission with a resistance contact sit rep, the resistance contacts is there's usually 3 civilians on the map that you can rescue for some extra supplies. But it has the side effect that all other civilians on the map do not have a detection radius, which doesn't matter because we don't have concealment on this mission anyway, but on other missions it might matter. And they also do not run away from you, so they will not start yelling, they will not put enemies into yellow alert, so that's kind of an interesting aspect to keep in mind. Like, I don't think it affects our mission planning, but just something to be aware of if you have resistance contacts.
So since this is a shorter timer and we are looking at doing only a 5-man team, there's a couple things I want to take into consideration though. One is that we do know Liberation is about to cycle over and we're going to be able to start discovering it again. But we also have a mission finishing up in 26 hours, right? So I don't feel the need to keep people back for that Liberation, right? The other thing to consider is that because it's a city center and extract, our sharpshooter value goes down tremendously, so I do want to leave the sharpshooter behind. With it being a 5-man team, going into a force level 3, bringing a rookie here could be something we want to consider, especially since we know that our deck is consisting of a ranger, gunner, and a shinobi. But we may also just want to wait for the GTS and not take that risk and have to carry someone. If I was going to bring someone, it would more than likely be Paul Williams here, as even though with low combat intelligence, all 3 of those classes work well. So what I've queued up already though is an Assault Grenadier Specialist Technical and another Assault, leaving the rookie out of the equation and trying to get a few more of these promotions, especially like Lightning Reflex on Astro Boy would be very nice to have. And you know, just gaining some of the value here.
Alrighty. Looks good.
And, yeah, anything else you want to add? Do you want me to go SMG on our Grenadier here? Seeing if you're catching it at all.
I was not sure, like, you know what? Yeah, no, it's better. I didn't see the mobility directly. But yeah, no. It's kind of... I usually have like 12 mobility as my baseline for these kind of missions, as in I don't want to have anyone slower than that. and we are there.
Damn shame about this assault, which is also now encouraging me to probably drop the flashbang, at least get the extra point of mobility. I'm tempted also to drop the frag grenade, seeing as we do have such a heavy presence of grenades already here.
Yeah, I think it's worth it, especially that also puts in then with if you drop the frag, you get to the 12. So the fantastic thing about the mobility stat is it doesn't actually mean 12 tiles, but rather each tile in the mission costs you 1.5 points of mobility. So you have basically some breakpoints where it makes more sense to get to that breakpoint. And so any mobility stat that's divisible, that you can divide by 3, is basically something to aim for. So the 12, 15, 18.
Yep.
Wishful thinking.
Our assault over here, being at 11 mobility, is also now a concern. And again, I'm going to drop, I think, the flashbang. We'll keep an additional frag. Frags are still going to be useful at force level 3. We're going to start seeing purifiers, lancers. So I think just having those frag grenades to do the damage and bringing 1 flash on our technical seems like a fine trade for me. All right.
Okay, let's get them going.
Okay. Everything is giving you reduced mobility really on those additional perks, equipment. All right, we did talk about switching. This probably, if we were going to do it, it's a fine point. We do have missions coming up. And then, do you want to do that, Ava? You're not even streaming yet, are you? We should go over to your stream. We should switch it. Or do you not want to?
We can let's have you play one more mission and then we can see if we switch.
Okay. So now that we've discovered 2 missions, we know that there is a liberation chain still here, and so I think I still want to keep scanning. I'm just checking real quick and seeing that we have 7 days on this intel. We do know this mission's going to be queuing up a little bit, and we're still looking though. We're still looking to hopefully get a good time around Liberation 1 over here.
Because ideally we want to liberate Western Europe and not Eastern US because reasons. That's a good.
That is a good mission to find.
Yeah, but I think we're really almost only down to rookies at this point.
Commander, we currently have no new supplies coming in.
Rookies
Maybe
and
a
a sharpshooter.
Means of replenishing our resources.
Now, I think this is actually a fun mission to do. I'm gonna queue this up because we're about to get into the overextending of our roster right here. We don't have a team ready to go, and if we waited, we could wait and bring this down to a 5-man. With that other team that we have here, the extracted VIP, right, at 12 hours. And this is actually what I'm going to suggest we're doing, but let me hold off just 1 second on this. We could launch this right now, actually. Gonna do an under-infiltrated mission?
I mean, it's still 7 to 9, right? It's no and no guarded or anything. I think you could. I would actually launch it right now.
Yeah.
And then you can split off like 3 experienced people with a bunch of rookies and do the other mission.
Yeah. What I was going to suggest or showcase was we could queue that up with the sharpshooter and a bunch of rookies. We would go all SMGs and grenades, and the entire point of that group is to blow the way through, get the objective, and get out. But we're going to do something that I typically don't do right now, and this is going to be launch a mission before it's ready to go. The reason I'm comfortable doing this is because we're in a strength 1 region right now. Under infiltrating is increasing the strength modifier by 1, still keeping it at 7 to 9. This is going to be an expected strength 2 mission. It's something that we typically do as all of our missions on legendaries, always kind of assuming you're at strength 2. We do have also a very full squad here of Shinobi, Grenadier, Ranger, Gunner with 2 more rookies. And if I take a look at real quick, we have hit the Force 3 level. Disappointingly, I was hoping it was still Force 2, but I think we'll be okay.
There's one effect that under-infiltrated missions have is the chance for enemies to take reflex actions. So the yellow alert shots or green alert actions goes up with each percentage the under-infiltrated. Now the percentage goes up, depends on your difficulty level. I'm fairly certain it's 1% actually per percent missing. So instead of the usual 9% chance for them to take in a shot on us on yellow alert, it's going to be 46%, which is a little bit scary. So we need to watch out for yellow alert shots that could come in.
Let's do it. That'll be fun. So what are the odds you can do a 19 through 21 network tower? Is that 100%? Let that go to 150%, I would say, or boost it. You want to get to 16 to 18 or 13 through 15 ideally. Depending on how strong you think your squad is, though, 19 through 21 isn't that much harder. You might actually get more value out of your grenadiers and rockets, as the patrols are going to be much closer together.
We have a confirmed location for the VIP. Move to rendezvous. Eliminate all.
Yeah, and that base is because of the strength you're in. I'm assuming that's a strength 5 region, so I would over-infiltrate to at least one vulnerable.
Squad concealment active.
Yeah, just over-infiltrate that network tower and you should be fine. I don't think you'll have much issue if you let it go to 125 or 150. Now, I didn't know we got concealment under infiltrating here.
The only reason missions where you don't get concealment if you're under-infiltrated is like troop column supply rates. In regular missions, it doesn't affect your concealment. So
if your squad is very strong, fight more enemies for experience. Yes, that's also some good advice. I'm going to use our rookie here with this SMG to scout. Oh, let's talk about the map, right? Well, this is how we've been starting things. So the map, once again, similar to the VIP jail cell, is you're going to have your objective somewhere ahead of you and your evac behind you. In this case, we are going to be going to a vehicle, so we're going to have to get to the back door here to hack this and open it to get out. But lucky us, our evac is going to be behind us, and so we're going to be fully aggressing with everyone this entire time. Pod placement is going to be from starting from where we are between us to the objective, with a pod that is guarding here, and then typically 2 pods patrolling, and with the 7 to 9, I'm going to assume 2 drones as well. Instead of using my Shinobi to scout, because we don't have a location scout here, I'm going to use my rookie in case my Shinobi likes to run into a civilian, as tends to happen. And we can see that there's truly nothing around us right here. There could be a drone in this building, but they're not going to have the vision unless we decide to like run over there to see us. And I feel very confident in starting to move forward with everyone.
We've got a hostile squad here.
First bit of information is going to find a pod on top of a roof, a sectoid and 2 troopers. Quite an easy, typical pod that you're seeing. We're not seeing any of the new Force 3 enemies just yet. And with the information... oh, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing we can already assume there. So I think that's a very predictable pod because they usually don't jump down from roofs at random spots if they're not active. So they will walk down the ladder. So we can kind of already predict where that pod will be next turn.
And they're only going to have the 8 tiles really of movement. So we'll also gain some information on where they might be going on the turn after, because as I was saying, is they're not going to jump down. They're going to have to take one of these like ways down, be it through the drain pipe or the stairs. So if they do come this way, this could also be a really good engagement to set up an Overwatch trap or tell us if we want to engage it sooner. I'm going to keep moving up though. We're going to take advantage of this information and try to get our people as close as possible. Or potentially a forced reveal or a good engagement sooner.
Solid copy.
X for it. We might be able to get a grenade there, certainly.
Yeah, that certainly looks like they will come down that drain pipe there towards us.
So then our question is we do have a grenadier with needle grenades and a giant frag. While we're probably not going to be destroying the roof, we don't take sapper, as terrain destruction from grenades is drastically reduced in Long War of the Chosen. We can know that we can get quite a bit of value out of this grenade.
Even if you probably center it on the back troopers, there's a very good chance to kill both of those, and then you just have an injured sector to deal with. And might even be worth putting someone on Overwatch to take a shot at him.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at here. I see an 82% from our gunner, which is quite nice. I do not think you put the ranger on Overwatch because the ranger gets a lot more value out of either shooting twice and or walk firing if this guy does go behind cover. Our rookie right here, though, gets a 78. That's a decent shot as well. And I don't think we want Martina shooting because this is an SMG, and we can certainly use the range to be able to get closer if needed. So what I am considering is really just only the gunner, more than anyone. The rookie would be nice. With us not knowing what's out here, though, patrol could come in. There is a higher chance of them taking a yellow alert shot. I don't really want to let them have a flank on anyone. Half cover is also questionable there. But the gunner being far enough back, I'm considering it.
Yeah, definitely the gunner, and yeah, the rookie is a little bit on the exposed side.
Eyes on the prize.
So I do think we are going to center this. I don't even think I really need to center on the trooper necessarily. I think just going on this tile between, because of the needle grenades, still going to give us the value we're looking for here.
Heads down.
Yeah. I mean, it's we'll see.
Multiple targets neutralized. We're in their sight.
Maybe I should have centered it on the sectoid a little bit more so we didn't leave a 1 HP sectoid up.
That's like what Walkfire is kind of built for.
Yes. Now the question is, though, is do you think I can move up to this full cover position, revealing a little bit more of the tiles, and we just made a lot of noise to walk fire this, or do I stay back just one tile in this half cover and take the walk fire from a half cover position? But that doesn't have me peeking up here.
I'm not trusting that full cover. I think that reveals too much of the map.
I agree. I'm going to go over to the side and we're going to take the walk fire shot here. I know. Ava didn't give me much of a choice. Only a 66% chance, still good enough in my book.
I got it, right?
And we're all set. Since I know that this position over here is clean for us, we are going to reposition over just a little bit. There is probably a pod coming in on yellow alert. One of the things we are going to look to do if there is a pod coming on yellow alert is hopefully get a few Overwatches to shut down their ability to take those aggressive actions. Our Shinobi is also still in concealment, which means I probably should not have actually Overwatched to begin with, and instead slowly push up our Shinobi just to get a little bit more information. That information does tell us we could have moved there. So these positionings and these movements maybe was a little premature on my part.
On Overwatch.
Civilians and stealth is not my strong suit. Now we did get no audio cues, and we have some juicy loot that I really would like to grab. There is some.
Especially that sectoid loot.
The sectoid loot I think is not going to be a problem to grab. We do have our Shinobi that can come up here. It's this trooper loot up here I'm looking to get, and I think I'm going to be a little bit aggressive. Oh God, is my internet dying again? Thanks.
Let's get this show on the road.
Are we okay?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think
Be a
it's
little-
recovered.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little aggressive, and I'm going to move a rookie up here, potentially in a flankable position to grab that PCS conditioning.
Heading
I
out.
mean, okay, yeah.
Enemy squad located.
Using our Shinobi to grab the loot has revealed the next pod, and they are on yellow alert. But we do have what I would call as imperfect information on them right now. We don't actually see all three of them, and so the information we're being given is only from the two, but they are the two closest to us, so we can assume that it's trustworthy. That being said, I don't really want to aggress too much right now. I would like for them to come into me, even in risking those yellow alert shots, getting our people in full cover positions, and potentially taking what little Overwatch we can. So I think setting up for that is what we do. Unless Ava has
No, that looks perfect.
Yeah.
Especially getting our gunner to catch up
On your
here.
order.
I think is important. He's gonna be
Will do.
the main damage dealer,
What's
and
over
of course the needle grenades.
On my way. Good copy. Moving on target.
a shotgun Overwatch is not something I'm super proud about taking, but I can't get a grenade up there just yet.
Moving
So
Overwatch.
We'll sit there. Now, Illogical's in this weird standing position, but I'm gonna trust the game that this is actually half cover and that we are getting the full value out of here, and it's not gonna lie to me. Because the game wouldn't lie to me ever now, would it?
An activation.
That's not that bad of a of an early activation, I don't think. Getting a panic. If we kill this sectoid, we actually get rid of the panic. If
Yeah,
you
he is in a fairly flankable position.
that he is, I could move a logical over here into half cover to take a shot on the sectoid.
He can. You could also move into the rooftop behind. That should also still be a
Oh yeah.
flank shot.
Look at that position. I'm gonna move here, but I'm not gonna take this shot just yet. Because what I actually think I want to do is I would like to get some grenade damage out, especially from one of these rookies here. Now this should be a fairly safe position to move to. It's only one tile forward, giving us only just a little bit more vision, giving us full cover against these sentries in case we can't figure out how to kill them all. And I know for a fact that this grenade will not kill the sectoid. Now, if only it'll let me center it appropriately. Which I don't think it's going to let me do, is it?
Never.
Well, we're going to take that value and we're going to hope that it's enough. By the way, I completely missed Jet Sunrider. Thank you so much for the sub. We were definitely in the middle of a thought there. If you're still here, I hope so. I really do appreciate that. Hope you're having a great day. Now, this guy does have 5 HP. We would have to be a max damage roll. We do have a 26% chance to crit. I still think you take the shot rather than sing about using another grenade or anything like that.
Yeah.
A min damage roll. Disappointing.
Well, now the low cover position there, we could maybe take with the gunner.
That's what I think we have to do. I think we need to kill the sectoid. We're certainly going to be able to use a grenade to get rid of one of these sentries. With quite certainty. Could also just miss.
How'd you do that? So at this point, I'm thinking, as much as I hate losing the potential loot from that sectoid, we might just throw the second grenade there from the other rookie.
See, I'm greedy. And I'm considering moving my Shinobi into a full cover position, flanking shot, and taking the best gun in the game, the SMG, and shooting that sectoid and getting those Elerium cores.
Okay. Yeah, I can. That's an option.
Then the follow-up
You just gotta
becomes...
make sure that that sentry, the close sentry, is dead and doesn't just then flank your butt.
Well, the follow-up is then a typing hate here, gets back his actions, throws a grenade with needle grenades onto this sentry, and then I would probably take Ivan, and I think I can come here safely. I don't know if I want to go this far forward as we're still around this line, right? And flashbang that sentry. That's my thought process. If this misses, I think it does have to become the frag grenade onto the sectoid and then the grenade onto the sentry, but at least we have full cover against the final sentry there. And I'm going to take that action.
I'm spotted.
Okay.
Because I believe in Komotics here. More value than our Ranger, that SMG. I don't think we actually move a typing hate. I think he gets that full value grenade right there. Keeps the full cover for the next pod coming in.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on.
I already clicked it, but I'm sorry. Yes?
Okay, what you could have done, which may or may not be... Okay, never mind, he's dead anyway. So one option, if you really wanted to be super safe, you could have teamworked your Shinobi back to a better position, because, you know, getting 5 damage on that grenade is like, was a 50-50, so that was far from a safe kill. But yeah, it all worked out, so save the teamwork.
So now we can actually consider maybe a grenade on this sentry or a flashbang. A grenade on the sentry would blow the car up potentially as well, since he's so close to the front where the engine is and where you can create the explosion. But I am going to start by moving Ivan just up there a little bit. And one of the things that this is doing as well, based on all these movements, is the people most at risk are our rookies, which if we're going to get anyone injured, it's probably them. Now, I actually can't get the frag grenade onto the sentry, but I could onto the car on 2 tiles on it. That being said, I think the flashbang is probably the safer option for all of us here, as I can't guarantee that car is going to explode, and it's absolutely not going to kill the sentry from that position.
Yeah, I think if the center tile of the grenade is on the car, then it's pretty much guaranteed. But if it's just hitting on the edge on 2 tiles, I don't trust it.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw the flashbang. We're going to reduce his aim. We're going to reduce his mobility, preventing him from going too far. And we get to be greedy with our loot. Sentry's not even going to move.
Sitting there shooting, okay. Missing. I'm not 100% sure how the actual the math works for blowing up cars. I assume that it's related to environmental damage that the grenade does.
Steel, how are you?
I'm thinking that most of these cars have basically 10 environmental HP. So if one of the tiles that you're hitting is getting that 10 threshold, the whole car blows up. So the more parts of the car you hit with your grenade, the better. And the center tile is important because that doesn't have any damage fall off because of the range. You know, they have damage fall off from the center of the explosion, so that has the highest chance to actually roll the full environmental damage.
So now that we've cleared up everything, we know there's one more pod on the map as well as the sentry. There's an interesting option we have here, which is moving our gunner into a position that is out of cover but does have a flank on this sentry. We know this pod is not here, and this is max range, 1 tile off max range. So any pod we engage with would have to be behind this door or at this tile to actually get a position here on our gunner. Why I'm considering doing this is I want to take this shot without using a grenade, but if I fail, I do have follow-up with Komotics to get a grenade here without us over-aggressing too much. I have a grenade on our Grenadier that I kind of want to save, and I don't have any grenades on our rookies anymore that I can use this turn. We also don't get a good position of a shot from our Ranger, who is now needing to reload. And so in my thought process is this is actually fairly safe. If we get the kill, great. If we don't, we have follow-up.
That sounds like a good plan.
No problem, boss.
Double Shinobi bond mates. We should just bond all our Shinobis together. And like that, we do get that kill, we get the crit, and we also get the advantage of getting the loot. So before I do anything, I'm just going to reload a logical here. And I don't need to be extremely greedy and grab this loot yet, but I would like some more information and to know if I need to fall back. So I am going to move Martina up. Martina does not reveal anything. We do know that behind the van there is quite a bit of fog of war we don't see, and it could very well be that the patrol is hanging out over here. But this is going to be our line right now. I'm not going to go past this line. Instead, though, I am going to probably double move my Grenadier to full cover. I'm going to move a logical up to full cover on this position. And Ivan, I think I can move forward. Yeah, I can move to this corner. This should be safe. So I'm going to start here, just in case. And then use this opportunity to get just a little bit of movement. Keep Ivan on Overwatch. Keep Martina on Overwatch. And we'll grab the loot next turn. And I think we keep Komotics back as well. Komotics does have enough mobility to happily engage. But I'm also debating. No, there's really nowhere I want to put him. Maybe this position actually in the half cover of the restaurant.
Building, yeah.
Just to get that little bit forward momentum there.
The only thing I would check, if he still has line of sight to his buddy there. Yeah, okay, teamwork is still available. Fantastic.
Scanning.
Because even though the teamwork action is just a move, for our Shinobi that opens up like no matter where the enemy are, we can hit them with a sword. If we teamwork the Shinobi.
So we are finding our first tier, or fourth level 3 enemy, the Priest. The Priest has the unique ability of sustain. Sustain means that if we kill them, they have a chance of just going into a stasis mode where we can no longer do damage, and then they get an extra action on their next turn. Now, this priest did go into Overwatch, which was their green alert action. They could not take a yellow alert action because we did hit them. So lucky us. Now, we do not have lightning reflexes on anyone here. We don't have shadow step on anyone here, but we do have our particular set of skills.
Grenades. But can we grenade him and teamwork first?
Yeah,
And then
I think so.
our Shinobi would have enough movement to probably just kill the engineer if we see him.
What I want to talk about real quick, though, before we do anything, is this ability Sustain. What this says is that if they take enough damage to be killed, they are immediately put in stasis for 1 turn. Their health is reduced to 1. This can only happen once per mission. There is an overkill modifier for Sustain. If we were to do, each point of overkill damage is a chance of just instantly killing them. And a tier 1 priest, I believe, is 20%. It might be 25%.
25%.
So if we can do 4 points of overkill damage, we would instantly kill him. Now with our grenade here, we can see that we actually only do 3 to 6. A max roll grenade would only do 2 points of overkill damage, which is a 50% chance of killing them instead of putting them in sustain and stasis. So what I am considering is how do we get 3 points of damage on this priest so that we can try to increase that chance.
We could throw that grenade and put it off center, like hit him on the edge of the grenade. So instead of doing 3 to 6, we would be doing 1 to 6 damage, which, 50-50.
There's this other little fun thing where I don't think if you're flashbang you can sustain. Am I correct on that?
I am not sure. It could be. I don't know actually. I don't think it's affected by flashbang. I think only if you freeze them or stun them, they don't get the sustain.
Oh, we're gonna teamwork first. I'm still gonna flashbang him because I am gonna be able to pick up all this loot, especially with a teamworked Shinobi. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see if we can't guarantee this. Disorient will not block sustain. Okay. Well, this is still the route I want to take. We did 4 damage. We did exactly his HP. That guy's going into stasis. You're right. We could have done like thrown off center, but I still think this is the safer option for us. There is another unit on the map that we do not have vision of right now, but I again don't think that's going to be much of an issue. If we go like here and then here, we're still going to have enough mobility to go around, don't you think?
Yeah. Now my biggest concern is that we basically flank to the priest when he comes out of stasis, but we're also flanking him, so he's gonna very likely move.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. We can certainly get in positions for that.
Here's the stuff.
Lyrium core. Wait. Oh, I moved the wrong person. I moved the rookie. Well, let's see if this rookie can't give us.
Pick up the other loot too, and give us the position of the.
That it did.
There.
Now this engineer is in an interesting spot.
Can we flank him with our gunner?
We could from a flanked position. This would flank the priest. We'd have to put our gunner on Overwatch. We'd have to put a logical on Overwatch. And we'd have to pray a little bit. Do you like praying?
What's the worst that can happen? How much HP does our Shinobi have? Ooh, okay.
Enough.
Hostile neutralized.
He's got enough. Look, I'm even gonna get some high ground here from a logical, okay?
If you say so.
And I have the utmost faith on both our gunner and our ranger for grazing for 1.
Strategy.
What?
Well, that's unexpected. What bastard.
Fun fact, guys. Priests don't like to move sometimes. Look,
That's so weird. Like he could have just moved one tile over.
Yeah.
You know, jumped the little barrier. But maybe he was thinking, hey, if I can get a kill, would he get a kill shot?
he couldn't get a kill shot if he tried. He legit can't do enough damage to get a kill shot. He can only do 4 damage.
Well,
Priest crit is
you
for
know,
1. Like that wasn't a kill shot.
Let's hear 6,000 combined hours of XCOM wisdom, and we're still baffled by the game.
Like I just don't know. Oh, I love it sometimes. Well, Komotix, you're going to be taking a little bit of a vacation. I'm going to bring you over here and say, take your revenge. I'm in shock. I'm in awe. I'm amazed. In hindsight, there was another play we could have done, especially knowing now that we just crit him for 8, even though that probably wouldn't have been the same. One of the plays we could have done is we could have done the flashbang to cure the Overwatch and then gone for the melee. We didn't know where this engineer was, though, right? Which is one of the reasons we certainly were doing what we were doing. And we weren't going to be able to get a flanking position on the engineer without being flanked ourselves. So one way or another, I think we were put into an awkward situation unless we wanted to fall back more, or still try for that grenade, right? I think at the end of the day, like, you're going to take wounds on some of your missions. It sucks that it's our only shinobi taking our wounds. Par for the course on all my campaigns, though, you might say.
Look at it this way: we have 2 rookies here who gonna get a promotion. There's a good chance one of them is gonna pick up the shinobi rank. That's waiting. And we have a mission to rescue shinobi waiting for us. So
We're
we're gonna
building
be swimming in shinobis.
we're building morale by letting them hang out at the bar for a few weeks. Now, I'm fairly convinced that there's nothing else on the map. The fact that we didn't even see a Advent turn bar here at the bottom confirms that suspicion that there is nothing else on the map. If we take a look at some of our hack scores real quick, we notice that we have no one that has a reasonable hack score at all. Whoever hacks this doesn't really matter. We could try to minute max it a little bit by taking our shinobi. I personally am not going to worry about this. And I'm just going to go for the hack. Once again, the game is lying about how close you got.
Got the VIP in tow. Menace 1-5 status confirmed. VIP is in tow. Proceed to the extraction point.
And we do get to pull a scientist out of here.
Really valuable at the start
Got it covered.
of the campaign.
Double time. Snapping off.
Now, since RNF is not red, I feel very comfortable getting people out. I know I can get everyone out next turn without a question. There's going to be no more enemies shooting at us. There's no faceless on this mission right now. And with the instant rotation over,
Running.
let's call it a success.
On the move.
VIP secure and in position for evac.
It's such a minor thing, like the hack fail display thing. Like,
Status
you would never actually realize it's an issue until you put. It's not even an issue, right? You would never really care about it until you put tons of hours in. It's much more of like a fun tidbit now that we get to discuss. So removing it, I feel like, takes a little bit away from it.
An impressive command. Our troop skills are improving with every.
All right, we have a ranger promotion for Logical, who has taken this unique ability, Walkfire. I was trolling with my character here, clearly, but we are going to be taking Locked On. If you're building a ranger, unless you're building the shotgun ranger, it's almost always Locked On over covering fire. We talked about this a little bit more. Covering fire can be good, but you want to kill things, right? You want to get that additional aim, that additional crit. You're shooting at something twice. Let's make sure that thing dies.
Current fire is the big disadvantage. Like, if you're shooting an enemy who is also shooting, you're probably shooting into cover, and that's going to be a bad shot. And that's, even if you go an Overwatch Ranger, that's going to have some anti-synergy with rapid reaction because you need to hit all your shots. So it's kind of questionable. Like, I've seen covering fire doing good things, especially against mechanical enemies, but more often than not, it's gonna hurt you more than it helps.
Yeah. Hansi, thank you for the 100 bits. Are you guys playing with Red Fog or no? No, we do not play with Red Fog. Red Fog is disproportionately advantageous to XCOM compared to Advent, as the chance of us taking wounds is much lower than Advent, and so it becomes a win more mechanic if you're winning. I don't play with Red Fog like ever, but that's like my take on it. We're gonna take Locked On here. We have a rookie we'll need to take a look at in a second, as well as Smirnov. I didn't actually, when we were accounting for those rookies that we sent out, I don't think we were counting that we had rookies on the mission, to be fair.
Yeah, no, we were not taking that into account.
So I think this is looking like a normal gunner. 74 aim, 15 mobility, 4 health, negative dodge. I think we're still going the center mass, formidable, shredder, chain shot, cyclic, rupture, saturation build here. We were talking about running gun on the XCOM row previously. This is a very strong perk. This lets us reposition and still use cyclic fire, which can be absolutely insane if you can get a flank in that position, right? Walk fire is the pick by rule of thumb. I was memeing a little bit there on the Ranger. I take Ever Vigilant because I like to say the value every time it procs and hits something, and a little bit that it upsets Ava that I love it so much.
No, it's like, I think both have some sort of value. Like, the thing is, I'm personally just not a fan of Ever Vigilant if you don't pick any other Overwatch perks, because without cool under pressure, you're just taking 50% Overwatch shots, and you're also not controlling your ammo use, right? Like,
Yeah.
shooting a bad shot somewhere into the void is just gonna mean, oh, you're short one ammo.
I think you should follow Ava's advice certainly on that. Again, I think it comes down to some personal preference, and there's a little bit of memeing is why I keep taking it, and why I have Walkfire though as well, right?
It can be really good though. Just if you're just pushing forward, to have still someone on Overwatch is not bad. Like, it can save you your ass also. It's like 50% is also 50% to hit, right? I'm not sure if we talked about the first pick here for gunners yet, because there's a lot of people who will say, hey, if you have combatives available, combatives just super strong perk, and that's not wrong. You can tank like a berserker indefinitely with that, or something like that.
Well, how the fuck did it get in so close
So it
without
is
being
definitely an
detected?
alternative. Personally, I just want that base damage to ensure kills on sentries. Yeah, get that base damage up.
Yeah. Welcome on, Raiders. Happy to have you, Spooky Boo. How was your stream? I hope it was well. Welcome on in, guys. So the other thing to consider though is with combatives, and typically on your gunners, you're not moving very much, if at all, right? While you can tank a berserker or a muton for a while, the odds of you getting in position where you're also getting the value from your chain shot or cyclic fire are slim to none. Maybe this saves you a hit from a fun lancer, but again, fun lancers are also going to go for lower health targets typically, and gunners have pretty good growth both on health, aim, and defenses. I don't get a lot of value here. I think you certainly get more value out of the additional damage. This is affecting everything, especially multi-attack abilities. The value just goes up, right? Just goes up a ton.
Fire, it's 3 damage. With saturation fire, it can be 16 damage if you hit a lot of targets.
Yeah. So for me, it's certainly always like center mass. Grazing fire is an interesting one. This is a 50% chance of any miss to become a graze. This is additional damage. This can be useful. I have made it work with suppression builds in the past, especially with things like Mayhem, right? But I think also some of that was with the old Chosen before they got their knockoff lightning reflexes. So I was getting quite a bit more value out of some of the abuse we used to do. The suppression build and grazing fire itself, I think, is offering less value overall in a campaign than center mass is going to.
The thing with grazing fire is it kind of loses value over the course of the campaign, just because your chance to hit is going to go up. You get better scopes, you get higher aim, you get aim PCS, you maybe have a auto targeting officer who gives you 20 aim, you get teamwork aim bonus, focus fire, you call it, you have it. So as you're closing in, you're taking more and more 90, 95, 100% shots, and grazing fire is a dead pick at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. And Nocturnal, good to see you. Little Sleep, how are you? Blue Terra, how are you? Good to see you. But yeah, that's like my thought with it as well. Okay, so we got a scientist, we got some additional loot. We have a few more promotions to go knock out. We currently have a gunner, a ranger, and a shinobi in the roster picks, I believe all three of these we're pretty happy with. Maybe even Ivan being very low is a little, actually they're both very low, little concerning. But like 17 mobility on a shinobi, or, well, okay, hold on, on a gunner and a ranger, damn it.
So, sorry, did you just say something about 17 mobility ranger?
You have a 2 out of 3 chance here of getting a really, really fun class. Should I start here, or do we want to go with the 16 mobility,
Yes.
a little more well-rounded?
Give me my shotgun ranger. Lucky hands. Come on.
Is this it right now? Is this what we're
It's
doing?
an option.
Oh my!
Is that
Oh my god! Yes, we're doing it.
impulse? It's impulse. Yeah.
That's brutality.
I've never had. I mean, I would prefer scrap metal there over brutality, but that could be fun.
This could be
yeah.
very strong. We have seen the value of panic that does not roll against will in our mod jam campaigns, and there is a lot of power of something that does not care about your will.
10 tiles is actually insane. Like, I think fearsome in mod jam is what, 6 tiles?
6 tiles, yeah.
Then you have that. What's the one that is also in here? That's like a 4-tile one, Apex Predator, right?
Yes.
That's 4 tiles. Panic. That's 10 tiles is insanely large radius.
Yeah. So if you build your gunners with combatives, at what force level would you expect to find the most value? 12 and 7. Probably 12 more than 7. 7 is when you start running into mutons regularly. 12 is when you start seeing archons. So an archon value of combatives on a gunner, sure, but that's still quite a bit late. I still think I'd rather have the damage. I'll let Ava play around with this character. This is gonna be fun to use. This is gonna be honestly a great showcase, I think, in an over-explained campaign, as you're going to see one of the more uncommon uses of rangers, certainly between both of our campaigns. The amount that get built of these shotgun rangers is few and far between, but they can absolutely put out some insane damage, especially against the chosen. Double barreling a hunter or a warlock early on in an engagement with them is, you know, potentially 40 damage depending on how other modifiers you have on them, right? We're then going to hit Martina. Martina is going to become a gunner or a shinobi. 16 mobility, 70 aim. This is great for either class. Just a little overkill maybe on the aim for a shinobi, but like there's no questioning the value there. And there you go. There's your shinobi.
That looks good. That looks also standard plate. So with 70 aim, my thought is, oh, could that be a shooty shinobi? But I don't see any perks there that would make me.
I don't see center mass. I don't see. Yeah. I mean, maybe stiletto, but that's again only piercing. That's not actually giving additional damage, right? Trying to make the shooty shinobi work is a lot harder than the shotgun ranger, in my opinion, because you don't really get the value until you have like hit and run, right? Like you need to get up to this point. Yeah, you can just suppress the warlock and then run up to him. If you burn the warlock, disable CCS. The warlock is like, I can't wait till we get into the over-explained of the chosen, just because there's so many options now with how to deal with him other than the assassin. But yeah, that is another successful mission. I'm quite happy with. Do you want to switch at all, or do you just want to like let me keep going for another hour?
You know, at this point, I'd say let's keep going.
Okay. I do need to remember to get a Haven Advisor in here. We're gonna grab someone with probably the highest will. Now, sharpshooters as a Haven Advisor are an interesting thought, and just for the moment, we're gonna keep them in there because they have full will.
Keep in mind, you have a mission to queue up.
Oh, I do have a mission in queue up. That's absolutely correct. Let's pull them out. Thank God we have Ava here. We do have the Resistance Personnel mission. Hidden Sage, how are you? Good to see you. Shinobis, they give a lot of aim bonuses. Lone Wolf Executioner. Yeah, it's not that it's like horrible either, but like they really come online when you get hit and run, and then you start seeing additional damage. But you do, I think, need to have a perk like Center Mass to further increase that value. Timberwolf. Let's get rid of that Shinobi. Ranger, Grenadier. Oh, are you on the team because of the bond? You are. That's fine. Let's get a gunner. We could bring the sharpshooter here. And this is going to be a 5-man. Ranger, Grenadier, Gunner, Sharpshooter, Shinobi. We don't have anyone to hack the objective, sadly, but I don't think that's even an option for us. We are in Force Level 3. Bringing rookies is getting harder and harder. What really needs to happen right now is we need to get our GTS out. We need to fix our roster up a little bit with a few more specialists, a few more Shinobis. I think we take the ranked classes out.
Yeah, I think so too. And probably after setting up the mission, a quick trip to the black market and get the money for the GTS.
Okay. Oh, so we don't have AP rounds just yet, so we still do want to rely a little bit on our grenades here. Let's see. Any perks that we have? We have an expanded magazine. I'm going to throw this actually on our Ranger to begin with. Take advantage of that walk fire maybe without having to reload so quickly. A shotgun Grenadier. Why? Oh, because of the mobility?
Maybe? I don't know.
I mean, that's what we had.
I mean, it could work. Like, I don't. But we didn't fire a single shot, I think, with him on the last mission. So it does have some value against, especially early game drones and stuff like that. And he does only have 3 grenades, right? So something to do after that.
Yeah, I don't know what we do with the sharpshooter if we want to give them any more equipment. Mostly because if the evac is far on the other side, we're gonna have to keep them moving. If it's close, doesn't have the advantage of a stock, doesn't have advantage of death from above. Kind of dead weight a little bit here. I mean, you'll get a shot or two at some drones, hopefully, and get the value. So do we think everything else can get killed from the rest of this group? I think that's a yes. I think we're in an okay position with this squad.
Especially in a strength 1 region. Right? So
Yeah.
there's a very little chance. So it might go up to 2, but so it's not going to go above extremely light.
Yeah, alright, I'm gonna send it. We're gonna enjoy that. Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. By the way, if you guys do not already follow Derava, please make sure to go do so. That's who's joining me today. We did this over-explained on his channel last week. We're doing it here this week, and next week we'll figure out if we're both streaming or if we'll keep this format, as I'm quite enjoying it. So certainly have to discuss that. I am gonna throw a Ranger in here then, it looks like. And we still have our scientist over here because we are looking for liberation. We do not have liberation queued up yet.
We currently have no new supplies coming in. We'll need to seek out new
And
means of replenishing.
Aren't we
But
gonna
we don't
split the
really
team?
have the people available for that.
Do I need to go abort that and split the team?
Idea was to send a few rookies out.
Sky Ranger
Um,
deployed. Everyone's on board.
We should be
Bring them
okay.
home.
All right.
Yeah.
Going back to this, we still have enough time. We're gonna split this team up just a little bit. So I think we take the Ranger, the Grenadier, and the Sharpshooter here. This is going to leave me with a Ranger, Shinobi, and some rookies for the other squad. The Ranger, the Gunner, and the Shinobi for Liberation 1, which will be a hacking one. Since this is resistance contacts, we will bring a few rookies here. I'm looking for people with mobility. I think I want to bring Ann Wilson. I think I want to bring Naoki. You know what? Their aim, not actually that big of a concern right now. We're gonna throw in a bunch of frags. These units are there to blow stuff up. Immediately, I'm already telling myself we are gonna give up a little bit of loot potentially, right? We can certainly start by opening with frag grenades and go with needle grenades to maybe preserve some of it. But more importantly is doing this mission quickly, cleanly, and getting these resistance personnel out, right? Do you have any thoughts about that, Ava?
No, I fully agree. That's like the best at this point. We like the main goal is to get the promotions and to complete the mission. Like getting loot is nice, but it's secondary.
The other thing that's going to be open this up is our XCOM deck is about to reset for class selection. These lower aim rookies we can certainly use to see what's going to be available in the XCOM deck. We can certainly get value out of them for whatever they become. And I'm not worried about them trying to carry their weight on a liberation mission right now.
I think the next one is still the gunner, right? That's still
yeah, but we have 2 people, I believe, on another mission. 2 rookies still.
Yep.
Or 1 rookie. Paul, we know this is going to be a gunner. This is a great gunner with high combat intelligence.
Fingers crossed for all the right perks.
Shadow Strike.
Shadow Strike, bring him on, Hunter's Instincts.
Just turn him into the absolute legend we already know he is.
Absolutely.
Sky Ranger deploy. In position to drop.
And yeah, and I still think we even though we barely have any rookies left to train, let's get the GTS out.
Okay, let me throw a Haven Advisor here. I'm going to throw the Shinobi simply because they have the most amount of will right now.
Avenger plotting new course.
We don't know how many cores we have. We have 3 Illyrium cores. We only need to sell 1 right now. So I'll go through the class thing in 1 second. I think I'm just going to sell 1 core here for this. All right, I'm
Yeah.
assuming I was saying yes.
Yes, yeah. So for the classes, I can probably also say the classes are always given out like one group at a time. So you get 1 of each class. Then once everything is given away, it restarts again, 1 of each class. So at the moment, we have 2 of each class, except for the gunner, where we only have 1. So we know the next random promotion is gonna be the gunner, guaranteed. And then it refills that. I'm not actually sure how the like that extra grenadier factors into that.
So the extra grenadier has no effect on the deck. The best way, like, I think about it at least, is like it's a deck of cards and you have 8 cards. These cards are now being shuffled out as you promote characters, and so once it's been passed out, it's not back in the deck. When all 8 are out, the deck is shuffled and it goes again through it. Classes that you pick up from the black market or from a this was a rescue of VIP, do not count towards the deck. So our next deck is still going to have the 8 classes, and we're always potentially going to have a bonus grenadier. As far as I'm aware, if anyone has any information changing that, let me know. But yeah, it goes through one of each.
I would assume that. So we kind of need to, if we really want to keep doing that, but we won't, because we don't randomly promote rookies anymore in a few missions. We would have to keep track of all the extra classes we got in there.
Yeah, really only get like 2 shuffles of the deck, or 1 shuffle of the deck really on legendary. So I made the GTS here while we were talking about that, and I actually pulled the engineer out. The reason is we want to get this Guerrilla Tactics School online ASAP. There's 2 things that are very, very important for us here. One is going to be wet work. This is going to double the amount of experience we get from kills. The other is going to be Vulture, which is going to double the amount of loot we get. Once we get access to Vulture, it pays for itself in a mission or 2, and that's how we start funding our campaign. I'm going to go back over to Western Europe and keep scanning. We are looking for our liberation chain here. Unfortunately, our timers may not be fantastic, but this is why we did keep a few soldiers back, just in case we can get a little lucky.
We have made a number of new discoveries, Commander. Commander, if we intend on discovering the purpose of the chip we extracted from you, we'll need to
Basic
conduct
research
appropriate
done.
research as soon as possible.
Ooh, an inspiration for hybrid materials.
So we did basic research. This gives us the equivalent of having 1 additional scientist. This is not a scientist we can equip in the lab or a haven, but this does help us with all our future research. We definitely want to get into hybrid materials early on, as we are missing, we're missing a couple things. One, we're missing AP rounds, which are going to start being super important going into Force Level 4, but that's actually from Alien Biotech. So we may want to go Alien Biotech. The other is getting into laser weapons and potentially mag weapons and corpse autopsies here. This being inspired, tells me we should just go for it. It's knocking off a couple days.
Yeah. Like Inspired is, I think it's like a random between 10 to 20% research speed increase or research time reduction. So it's not a huge difference, but we take every little thing that we can get at the start of a campaign. Since we need both hybrid materials and alien biotech to get the AP rounds and to get the research for the weapon tags, we needed both. We might as well take the Inspired one first.
Yeah. So as far as the resistance ring goes, the resistance ring is not a huge value early on in Long War of the Chosen. The missions that you get better as your troops get stronger, and early on we actually don't have a roster that's large enough to take advantage of the resistance ring. We're going to get more rewards from doing missions rather than keeping 2 or 3 people locked away for 12 days. The resistance ring value also comes online when you have multiple engineers that you can staff there to reduce those timers, but we are only at 1 engineer right now. Engineers are fairly uncommon in the early games. It just does not create the value, in my experience, that you would like it to have to be worth its cost and time.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind on engineers because we missed that first mission with that should have given us an engineer.
And we're about to miss Liberation again, unless we want to boost. In our starting region. Yeah. 3 days on that. I'm gonna wait until we're gonna have to go grab this. We are not getting the value out of the scientists that we were hoping for to finding Liberation. But
at this point, I would probably pull the scientist. Ouch. Okay.
But we did just find
click launch to see how many enemies we're facing.
16 to 18 base. What?
What? There's no way we can do that. What do we have here? A bunch of rookies, a gunner, a ranger, and a shinobi. Well, shinobi is a haven advisor you could pull out.
Yeah.
And realistically, we can get in 4 people with a boost. No, not without a sharpshooter, not without a needle grenadier.
So we're looking at this raid, and this would be a very good mission to do if we had a lot longer timer. 3 days, 20 hours is just not enough realistically to take on that much. That tells us the originating region is also a strength 4 or 5 region, because there is a strength modifier to this mission, but that is right there, that is a strength 6 mission. Because strength 5 would only be 13 through 15.
Yeah, one thing important for supply rates when you encounter them. You often just see supply rate, but then if you look in the top left here, it says rate the Advent troop transport. So there are 3 different types of supply rates. Troop transport, rate the Advent train, or rate the Advent convoy. And that have very, very different map layouts. Like train maps, always you have some high ground, you have the train tracks in the middle, most of the enemies are along the train line. I would say they are probably the easiest kind of supply rate missions you can get. Convoy have a long stretch of road with several cars in there. You can usually blow up some of the cars. Again, enemies will be along that road. Troop transport has basically some sort of refueling base where one of those Advent dropships, which is the troop transport, is parked. But the map layout is really bad and usually has 1 or 2 groups very, very close to your starting position. So actually, even if we had a sniper available, we might not get any value out of the sniper. We might be very quickly flanked by enemies. Troop transport really feels like a trap. So that's something to keep out for. There's a difficulty difference in the different supply rates you can get.
Yeah, and it's certainly in our best interest to pass this up right now. As much as I would love to be running in a strength 1 region, because 1 strength also went back over to Eastern US. We're gonna pass that up. Sadly.
Do we pull the scientist out, because I think the Lib 1 we can't find right now anyway, and I kind of want the research speed a little bit.
I absolutely think we do. I think we throw in a soldier. Our highest rank is going to be our gunner, and I think we go and grab this intel. We're now looking to probably either expand or on the next cycle look to boost. If we can maybe get some recruits in here. We do have a extract the VIP and smash and grab, so we're not getting any resistance personnel, sadly.
When inspired,
but that's okay.
Our team is actually quite efficient.
We're going to go with alien biotech next. As we've discussed, we need this to unlock future techs. We need to get those AP rounds out.
I'll have a report
So this means this region's only going to strength 2. Eastern Europe or West Africa is round strength 4 or 5, and one of the strength coming in here, which is absolutely fine. We are ready to go with a smash and grab at 100%. This again is going to be in the wilderness, 7 to 9, up to 6 crates that we're looking to grab with the sit rep, something in the air. Whenever we crit something, we get combat rush, which is going to give us additional aim and crit as well. We are bringing in 6. We do have the specialist, the technical, the Templar, sharpshooter, grenadier, and rookie. And doing this mission is going to get us some more supplies, alloys, and Illyrium. All things that we truly do need, especially with the GTS coming out to get wet work and hopefully into Vulture soon.
It should be. I think it's the same combat rush that you can get from the combat rush PCS, so it gives you like the crit mobility and does it give you aim? I think it also gives you aim. Right?
Aim and mobility. Yeah, mobility was the one I was missing there. So immediately when this loads in, the first things I always want to look for is counting how many crates, and I need to keep track of that because that is going to play a role in how we get out. And unluckily, we got 4 crates. The more crates you have, the more loot you do get. We also don't have anyone on concealment. So we've already put ourselves in a disadvantage moving forward. But lucky us, we have a sniper that's not really going to have a whole lot of value in grabbing crates, but might give us some value on scouting or give us value on the follow-up. They really trapped us in here with a unfortunate group. We have to move the technical or the sharpshooter first. So I think we try and get a little bit of information with our sharpshooter, knowing full well that they're not going to be actually shooting this turn. And we do find the first pod.
At first, Advent deployed non-lethal stun units for crowd control and the occasional
Only if
protest.
you got a stun
We
lance.
don't see a whole lot of that anymore.
Who moves to a questionable position, if I may say so?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Can our Templar reach anybody?
Our Templar cannot reach
anyone?
anyone, sadly, so we can't
Okay.
actually generate the focus. 11 mobility Templar. I think that's my fault. I actually gave him an additional object. I mean, that's a horrible rocket with fall off because it does like no damage to either. So what I am looking at doing here is actually probably moving our Grenadier up, using rapid deployment, probably on the Lancer Trooper combo, and then no, it actually probably has to be on the Priest and then grenading the Lancer, unless I can find some additional follow-up damage. Really, the only additional damage is Paul Wilson here. Wow, we didn't bring rifles, really. Yeah, I think I have to do this. I could go in the half cover position actually and do this. Because Paul
Wilson needs a spot where you need to shoot from, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But I was also thinking we could maybe give him a spot by positioning our Templar with one for all, and then using that as cover to shoot from at the Lancer.
Right next to it, that'd be full cover at both of them. If I do one for all, though, we are no longer peeking from that position.
So you move the Templar, then you move Paul Wilson, you take the shot as long as the Templar is still half cover, and then you one for all.
The
full
Templar.
cover for the enemy.
The Templar can't. The Templar can't. I guess Paul Wilson can go there. Oh man, this is a very, very interesting way of doing this, certainly.
Heading out.
All right, Paul, let's see what you're made of real quick, shall we? I don't think you're gonna hit the 7, but we can get the grenade follow up if we need. We got the 3.
Okay, I'll go.
It's a start.
If we get through this pod, I think we're in an okay position. I am gonna flashbang just the Priest. off the get-go. Has 75 aim, which is quite a lot. We're going to be in some questionable positions here. And while we may not get the loot off of the Stun Lancer, it is still in our best interest to remove him from the equation immediately. Definitely the most dangerous person here. He could knock us out unconscious, and we'd have to use 2 AP to get them back up. And to be expected, we rolled a 3 on a centered grenade.
But everything's coming up XCOM here.
Well, I think we're going to take a half cover position with the Weird Gal here onto that Stun Lancer right now with the SMG.
Unless who's that teamwork with? I think they might not be on the mission, right?
We could teamwork Copyright.
Or yeah, Copyright could teamwork Weird Gal.
Oh, that too. To go to that position?
Of course, risk activating even more stuff, but then that is basically the safest way to take down the Lancer.
I'm gonna move Weird Gal here first. I want to see what this percentage is, real quick. 76. I think I'm gonna take that risk with this pod so far back. I'm hoping the other 2 pods are, so far forward. I'm hoping the other 2 pods are a little bit back. I'm hoping as well with the tree being this this L tree that we're not actually going to be leaning out that way. And instead of the 76, I'm going to take the 87. Getting that full value. This is then going to allow me to move my sharpshooter back to a full cover position, hopefully being able to take a shot. This priest has no way to get to full cover anywhere, which is good for us. And Copyright, I think, just also goes into full cover back here.
Let's do this.
So I am going to take these. Oh, I'm going to misclick Copyright, apparently. Good luck. I live with my misclicks.
That's a little bit unfortunate.
Yep. Oh. It's okay. It's only ablative. We're fine. Never worried.
Just that was a misclick, or you wanted to bait the shot.
Yes, that's it. I knew Copyright here was going to be able to take it. All right, so now we have the advantage of our Templar only being able to hit one person, which is actually great. It's the person we're trying to overkill here. We don't have a great shot from Astro. Could also burn the priest on the follow-up.
So the question is, do you burn him on the follow-up, or do you burn him first?
The burn can do up to 7 points of damage. I don't know if I've ever seen it do 7. If that does a full 7, I will be very impressed, but I do think that's what we do first. It is going to be 3 and cause the panic. Let's get our Templar up in there, get some focus.
Not even setting yourself on fire, that's always good.
Grab the grays and be on our way. I do think I just start with the 59 on the trooper from our sniper. That way, if we do get the kill, the rest of our actions can then be used to move forward and get positioning to kill this priest on the follow-up. Typically, though, we are going to miss, which is okay.
This mission is really, really going XCOM. This is like the most XCOM mission we had today so far. Like it's tempting to just throw a grenade at that guy, but then our grenadier is already completely out of options.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do that. Instead, I actually want to move up. We have full cover everywhere. There's really no position for this trooper to come get a flank on us that he's gonna be happy with, right? And so he's gonna have to shoot into a full cover position on one of our guys. I think we just keep Paul Wilson on the Overwatch as well as Donna, though these are a bit far back. And our Templar has a medkit, which puts us in an interesting position here, right? Because I could one for all, guaranteeing that we don't take any damage. This trooper is not going to be able to do enough damage to our Templar. If we burn, we do blow our medkit a little earlier, but we can also generate more focus next turn, or Volt if we need to as well. So I think
We
with
could also we do have a river just behind us.
Oh, that-
if we burn, we can also just run in there too.
that too, we can absolutely just run back.
Bait on that shot.
And we didn't even get the burn. Now this priest is at 3 HP, so we would need to do 7 damage to get an overkill, or somehow figure out how to do 2 before killing it. You know, it's a pretty good way of doing 2 damage.
Have a Templar attack him? No.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Hang on. Before you move and just attack, do you want to pick up the loot and then attack him?
That's what I was going to do. Yeah, I was also thinking, how do we want to kill this trooper? And I think a shotgun to the face is really quite nice. With the facility here, I think I actually want to do this move first in case it does trigger something. I can fall back, but this way as well, I would allow my Templar to not have to. Actually, maybe my Templar should just go there and then come back and find out. Yeah, let's do that. Does not trigger.
This world is ours.
It's
I think our
unfortunately high damage.
Templar missed the memo, which now tells me I need to put copyright on this side, which potentially is a worse position to be in. But not triggering is good, and we might have to take the risk. But I don't think I can leave copyright out in the open on the exposed side. As we learned previously, priests don't seem to like to behave as we would expect them to all the time. I do think a weird gal is just going to reload here instead of moving forward. I don't want to cross the line at all. We're going to take this opportunity to reload Astro Boy and Steady Weapon for next turn. And if this priest decides they don't want to move, our Templar is here to take the hit. Thanks for hanging out with the Spider Chew. Hope you're having a great day. Well done, team. Well done. 3 out of 9 killed.
It took us 3 turns.
Well, I think we're going to use Donna Cole to scout just a little bit more. Give us another line to move up, as she can still throw her grenade from there. I think copyright as well. Try and give us a little information, as we definitely need to be moving here. Now that didn't give us a whole lot of information that's usable. Our evac is over in this position. We just need to be aware of that.
Yeah, I'd probably start running Astro like parallel to the whole spot towards evac already. Like, we don't need him to carry a crate, so if we want to have any sort of sniper support, although it's tempting to steady him at least for another turn or two.
Yeah, my
Steady
concern
is quite a significant bonus.
My concern is that there's this giant object here that does have some strange hitboxes with it, right? Like these fins you can't shoot through. And so depending on where we get some angles, like it could be a little tough. I think knowing that this line was okay, I think this line might be okay, and it's at least worth throwing my rookie up here. If it is okay, then we can bring our technical and our Templar both up. And hopefully this also means that nothing's on yellow alert because they're so far back. Right, they wouldn't have heard the explosion.
Yeah, that was the advantage of that early activation, that this pod was so far out that we didn't put anything else on the map on yellow alert, hopefully.
Covering now.
Come get some.
They are on green alert, they are walking, and we will trigger this pod. And it's a pod of 4 with 2 Fun Lancers and a Viper.
Thin men now show their true form.
Holy crap.
A purely reptilian species. No reason for them to hide. The aliens don't need an infiltration unit anymore.
They stay all the way up there on the high ground.
That they do, and we have this wonderful class of technical who has this beautiful rocket.
Yeah, that's the rocket.
That's gonna destroy a crate. Oh no. Really? That position
What
won't
about,
apparently.
hang on.
Oh, okay. Whoops.
Does our temple? Okay. Never mind. I was going to say, can we just double bolt that?
Maybe. I didn't destroy any crates though.
There's both of them with fall damage, so we got to keep the loot. I was respect invert.
Ooh, invert's an interesting option. There potentially is 2 more enemies on the map. Wait, is there? Because this is a strength 2 region. No. So yeah, there should be 2 more.
One, it's still strength 1 at the moment. The supply rate hasn't hit yet. I think.
That's oh yeah, because strength 2 went to our starting region. This is strength 1. I don't think there's anything else on the map.
I would
Yeah,
probably invert the
Lancer. Yeah. And then I think you actually volt the sentry so we can hit it with our sharpshooter, because I don't trust an 86 on my Templar. And if we take a look
Yeah,
at my
no.
sharpshooter, that is a 67. Oh, volt's not giving me that much anymore. That actually just might be melee, so we can 1 for all and eat the shot after.
Yeah.
In typical fashion, our Templar is just providing so much more value.
Oh, this is certainly unexpected.
Copyright, I think you've been doing a fine job today. I know you're gonna be in half cover, but I want to see you crit a 7 for us. Thank you.
What about shotgun tech, specialist, new meta? Ooh, the combat rush.
Yeah.
On my way.
Now, Paul Wilson, how lucky are you?
Can you safely maybe grenade the specialist there?
Sentry?
The sentry.
That's what I'm gonna try. He can a little bit, yeah. From there. And there. I mean, I can always move the Templar, but then we don't get 1 for all. So I think I think the position is the half cover right there. That one.
Get ready for a surprise.
So, because I'm greedy, and since I think this is the last enemy on the map, I'm gonna definitely try and preserve loot if potentially possible. And we did not destroy the cover. I am gonna just take the 67.
Not good.
Oh, I think the sentry's not hitting anyone but the Templar, and he can't do enough damage to even hurt the Templar at all.
Yeah, we just went for all that. Let's get Donna just up there.
Yeah, I think you just bring her to the right, full cover position.
I'm worried about activating another group a little bit. I know it's kind of unlikely. We'll be seeing all this.
Yeah, that's a good assessment. I'm just gonna Overwatch in half cover. We're gonna force that sentry back. Has to shoot the Templar now. Can't do enough damage to get through the ablative. And then we get to do some fun activities of bolting.
That fire there is fairly close to that crate. I think it's the wall that's burning, not the floor, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
These experiments are nothing more.
So there may be
torture and death for our people.
another pod here, but it's certainly not right there. Keeping that in mind, though, we're gonna first move Paul Wilson, and he's gonna quickly tell me that they're not in this room either. I'm gonna get some full cover here, and we're gonna get closer to some objectives. Now, where the last pod might be, if there is a pod, I don't know, and we're about to find out, I guess.
Copy that.
As
Yeah, I think I would just move safely for now, and then we see if we have an instant turnover. Okay, well,
Yeah.
dish roll. That works too.
well, this is a fairly safe position. Karoth, how are you? Good to see you, man.
Got it.
About to find out. Fingers crossed. Nothing. There's nothing left on the map.
Not a problem.
Then grab your gun and bring in the cat.
Is that a Battlestar Galactica reference that you're making?
Affirmative.
Rolling out.
I hope so.
Got it. Move it.
For a mission that started off with a very questionable engagement on my part,
On my way.
I think it was handled quite well.
Where to?
So what I'm doing right now is I'm just gonna make sure that when you actually grab these crates, you shouldn't see any more yellow when you get everyone out.
Roger that.
There's no worse feeling than the run of shame back to try and get some loot that you should have grabbed and
Let's move already.
were a little slow on the trigger for. Also, with 5 turns until reinforcements come, I know for a fact that I can get everyone out before any RNF is coming in. Getting people out early, 1, preserves their will, so that they can keep running missions, and 2, saves you having to worry about putting everyone on Overwatch every turn.
Move.
Getting it done.
But if you do not know that you are going to get everyone out, I do recommend keeping people, especially to take care of RNF. You don't want to get stuck with someone still running if you took the mission a bit slower than this.
Avenger, this is Firebrand. Package is secure.
Commander, we're losing
No,
the
that
AO
was
and
certainly one of our
forces in the
fastest
process.
missions today.
I'd strongly advise we consider pulling the squad out of
Thankfully,
there.
I think that might have to be the last mission today, because we did get a little bit late
Yeah.
start on my fault, but
All
yeah.
SCOM operatives are secure. Firebrand is returning to base.
Status confirmed. Mission accomplished.
Flawless again. Just kicking ass and taking names.
For those of the old world. The remarks.
And we have a rookie promotion that's going to become a gunner right now, I believe.
There's no way the aliens were expecting a fight like that.
No other promotions, sadly. But we did pull out 93 supplies, 5 alloys, scope, laser sight, and suppressor. And if we take a look at this rookie, we know, as we've been talking about like all day today, this is going to be a gunner. Paul Wilson, show us what you got. Can I just make a stupid grin?
Oh, baby. Flash also.
One of the reasons we love this ability right here, Shadow Strike, is from this beautiful ability called Saturation Fire. With Shadow Strike, you are gained additional aim and crit chance, and Saturation Fire is going to hit everything, destroying cover, destroying enemies. You use this as an opener, you get a ton of value on a big pod. Follow, is this Paulo? This is fantastic. It's high combat intelligence as well, which is going to let us pick up flesh potentially if that's really where we want to go. Cutthroat with flesh is you know, pretty good. But we're definitely taking center mass here. But yeah. Well, it's been a fun day. Should we call it here and save everything for next time?
Yeah, I think that's a good position. Or we could advance the geoscape so that we can start off with the next mission next time. But no, let's cut it here. I think this is our usual time where we end the stream. We started a little bit late today, but that's fine.
Commander,
Yeah, and the bad news is, as said that it makes us, this is the last co-op stream ever in 2021.
Is it really? What?
Yeah, no more co-op streams this year.
Oh my goodness. What a